I'm going live, Angela.
Okay.
And we're live.
Let me just find my way to you since I logged in with this thing.
We are thus far having an excellent connection, but I don't have a super amount of faith. So we should definitely burn in. We are live, by the way. And we should definitely burn into this content like quickly because Guilty Angel, hello. Yeah, we gotta like, I have no idea if we're gonna last. Do you know what I mean?
Why?
I just, I haven't been able to fix everything. I'm actually streaming.
You seem stressed.
I am stressed. It's been a long day. What's up, Erica? I am stressed. Yeah, I've got to. Let me just go live on TikTok here real quick. I've got some hardware coming tomorrow, and so I think I'm going to be able to fix all the problems we're having. But my God, it is.
So you suspect that you might not be able to stay on? Like there's going to be an issue?
I don't know. Like, for example, I already just found one.
You did?
I did.
Bummer.
It's I'm going to get it sorted. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? I'm so glad to see you guys. We are, I think, live on TikTok now. Let me double check. See if we are live on TikTok. Oh, that's not TikTok. Oh, where's TikTok? Did TikTok just get shut down? Is it all that happened?
I've been waiting to join on TikTok and I haven't seen it.
Yeah, okay, great. But, okay, so now we're going live on TikTok.
You're very cute. You work so hard, bro.
Let's see if it worked. In some good news, well, I guess it's like whatever good news, but our little whale video took off on TikTok a little bit. I mean, it didn't get like crazy numbers or anything, but we've surpassed 15,000 views and, a lot of likes and stuff. So that was pretty cool.
I am happy to be sharing some whale knowledge with people.
Yeah, and it's just that I love that it's entertaining and that it's not pulling on like all like the sort of,
Dale, we have a birthday.
Whose birthday?
It is Erica's birthday.
Holy shit! I don't know if I'm going to sing.
Happy birthday, Erica!
I'm probably not going to sing.
Huh?
I'm probably not going to sing.
You're not going to sing?
I might. I don't know.
Okay.
I wish I could find some like good copyrighted stuff to play right now.
I know. I wish that there was a better birthday song. I feel like English speakers got really boned on their birthday song.
Totally agree. I think we're live on TikTok, are we?
Oh, let me see.
It says we've been live for a minute.
Yep.
All right, cool.
You're there.
Okay. Thanks for joining, Angela. We now have a person on TikTok. So, yeah, we were having a really nice live yesterday. And then I froze. We froze.
Mm-hmm.
We come back. Our audio goes to shit. And
was that yesterday? It feels like a million years ago.
It was yesterday. So I was bummed about that. And have been working all day to try to solve the problem.
All day.
I'm not even using the same software I used yesterday. And I'm switching from software-based to hardware-based. And I'm just going to try to fix this problem so that we can go uninterrupted. Because, damn it, we were having such a fucking good time. Weren't we? I was having a riot yesterday. I don't know what it was, but like we were rolling through it. And I was just getting into
Hey, let's not dwell on the past.
The fun stuff,
Guilty Angela is saying about Erica's birthday.
Uh-huh.
It says, Dale, sing. You should sing her happy birthday. and then Erica bailed you out, said, you don't need to sing. My nieces already did.
Oh,
Is
there
that
you go.
adorable?
Yeah. That's so fucking awesome.
Delicate was asking, did you freeze because you had other YouTube videos open?
No.
That's interesting.
No. It's I have
That's a neat troubleshooting suggestion.
I have this like machine that is like really beefy, but it's beefy from 8 years ago. So even though from a spec perspective, technical,
perspective,
it works pretty well, but the encoders or the graphics card, the GPU, it's aged to the point where the encoders aren't like
my encoders.
badass.
The GPU.
Yeah, it's like that. So I ordered today. I ordered an actual like physical piece of hardware called a switch, and it's called the ATEM Mini Pro, and it's gonna hopefully solve all these problems, and it's gonna make the simulcast very easy, or much easier at least, or multicast, whatever you want to call it. And so yes, fucking A. Let's see how it goes. I'm excited, but not as excited as I am to just be hanging out with you guys tonight. So.
Making fun of you for knowing all of this nerdy stuff is the way that I cope with not knowing any of this nerdy stuff.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, you're doing so great at fixing everything. If it was up to me, we would just flounder. There would be no hope.
I mean, the other thing is like
you're so great at it.
I'm throwing a couple of cameras at this hardware, and and I'm although today I'm not. I normally have the sound running through a digital audio workstation, which throws on these
you're kind of losing me.
Plugins, and
I know it's
you
difficult.
don't understand what I'm talking about, do you?
I don't understand it. I'm really, really grateful that you do.
All right, listen, I didn't want to make a big deal out of this, and I didn't want to put it all over the fucking thumbnail, because I don't want to give this guy too much, although I did put him, his name in the thumbnail to say, hey, we are going to talk about this. And I don't expect tonight's going to be a huge night for anybody. It was really, really, really slow out there today in terms of just the world and stories, and which I don't mind one bit.
The calm before the storm.
Perhaps. But we're going to cover a couple of things that aren't even on there, including Ice Cube's absolutely amazingly, brilliantly horrible.
There's a new movie that came out, is what you're talking about.
Oh my God.
A new movie came out on streaming, and we found out about it because it debuted at zero on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes.
So we watched it.
It debuted at 0. So right away we ran to the computer. We were like,
that's
a 0?
How you make money.
We were like, can it be so? Can it be so? This must be.
I wanted to know what a 0 film.
Subjective. It must be subjective. Yeah. It was not subjective. This is a fucking 0.
Okay, but what were you talking about before we started diverting into that?
I was going into the whole Perez Hilton thing.
Oh, Perez Hilton is who you're talking about.
It's not just Perez Hilton, obviously. But
you don't
want
to give him a lot of oxygen because he's a shameless troll.
He's a shameless troll, and it's a funny thing because as I was, opining on that in my thoughts, making up my thumbnail today, which was a desperate attempt, by the way, at a thumbnail. But as I was, sort of thinking about him, I thought about, some folks who have dropped by in the past and said, oh, you guys are the same thing. You're a bunch of fucking gossipers. I remember one person called us sad, and I was really affected by it. I was like, it fucked up the rest of the life.
I'd rather be called sad than cruel. I'd rather be called sad than I don't know, exploitative. I remember in the 90s how he was really he created such an environment of hostility around all those young actresses.
Yeah.
I remember that they would
around that Perez Hilton and
that they were publishing upskirt photos. Your credibility is in the trash forever if you don't have enough integrity to not publish upskirt photos of celebrity young women. I
fell down the rabbit hole that led me to his banning on TikTok. Did you know he was banned from TikTok?
I didn't know that.
So he was in 2020. He was banned for TikTok for multiple community guideline violations, and I of course know how difficult that or how easy that can be.
Yeah, I mean that could happen
because
to us,
I'm
right?
talking about the Karen retrial, and I've been suspended.
Yeah, right.
So TikTok is not easy to navigate all their things. As a matter of fact, I'm told that we should not refer to the red channel as anything other than the red channel, if you know what I mean.
What? Why?
And yeah, because apparently,
they're at
flags
war.
It. They're yeah. Isn't that silly? It's just we're on your platform, fools. So anyway, not to digress. He was banned from TikTok, and he was banned from TikTok for multiple violations. Among those violations, there was one that just was profoundly despicable, and he claimed that he said it, but he said it more as a tongue to cheek, whatever. But on a 16-year-old's influencer, a 16-year-old.
Oh, that's where those allegations came from.
He went there and
I'd heard that he was labeled.
These videos are making me hard or something.
What?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, gnarly, right? So he wrote that, God. and then of course, the fallout from there. And that was among others. He'd also been like, he had posted on more than one occasion. I did have the misfortune of coming across one of the posts where he's naked from the waist up, which was perhaps one of the multiple posts that TikTok cited as nudity, and he was like distorted over the fact that it was male nudity from the. But if they don't allow,
that's weird.
What, male nudity?
Naked from the waist up.
Yeah, well,
we usually just call that shirtless,
well,
and it's not a big deal, you know.
Shirtless. You're right. That was me. That was my fuck up. You're right.
That's strange that he would get like a warning about that, because a lot of people are like, "Hey, let's join me and my friends at the beach where a bunch of dudes are shirtless," right?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, shirtless is right. Anyway, so Perez Hilton is, but he's getting a lot of mileage. He's ringing. He's getting
a lot of mileage from Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni controversy.
Yeah, and sadly, I think he's kind of almost a mentor of sorts to guys like Andy Signor and all these others. Where they can turn around and exploit, their, manipulation as a means to earn a living. So anyway, he and Blake Lively are going at it. Blake Lively filed a protective order, a motion for a protective order on a document called Mario, but I don't know what.
That's his name.
Okay, Mario's an influencer or something?
No. Perez Hilton is a pseudonym.
Oh, his name is Mario.
He called
I know
himself.
it's a pseudonym, but I didn't know what his name was.
He called himself Perez Hilton because he was playing on Paris Hilton.
Yeah, of course.
And he's Hispanic, so I guess that's what he came up with.
I knew that he was, spoofing Paris Hilton.
He has a Portuguese
back
name.
in the day. He used to do it all in pink, but
I have to look up his name now.
That's all right. Yeah. Okay, so Mario. So that's who it is. Mario.
That's his name. His name in the court is Mario.
Of course, it would be his real name, but I didn't even think about that. Hey, listen. You know what? You're talking to the guy who thought Pee Wee Herman was his real name. So when I found out Pee Wee Herman was like a different person.
Mario Armando Lavandera.
Yeah. Well, that fucking guy. He's a messy dude.
He's a Lavandera. That last name means washer. Like
washer?
Yeah, like if you go to a laundromat, that's what it's called in Brazil. Maybe Portugal too.
So he's the laundry?
He's
the dirty laundry, is he?
It's just like, you know how like some last names have jobs? So his ancestors were washers.
Slick is with us on TikTok, and he said that...
That's funny because somebody in our comments said that he's washed.
He's washed? Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So his website...
Delicate said Perez is washed.
He is. Perez Hilton is washed.
Yeah, that's what his last name means.
So anyway, they're going at it, and she wanted this protective order. Liman did not grant the protective order, and part of her motion for the protective order was saying, and she also filed a motion to compel on him as well, where in the motion to compel, she said that Perez Hilton did not fall under the protections that are afforded journalists, that he is not a journalist.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the ruling was on that. Do you?
The protective order?
Yeah. Do you know no, not the protective order. The ruling on the protective order was not granted. She did not get the protective order, and as a result, she has to provide a fully unredacted item. And do you know more about this?
She has to provide to him some of her discovery that she has obtained in relation to him. Like, an
unredacted meaning like
what I think is really weird is like,
is that what that is?
What?
Well, so it's unredacted to him, and he's not allowed to share that with the public.
It'll be in violation of a court order if he shares it with anybody.
But what is it in general? Obviously, we can't know what's in it. But do you know what it is in general? I'm
assuming that it's just her. He needs to know why he's involved in a lawsuit, or why he's not involved in a lawsuit, why he's being subpoenaed. So his argument was, you need to quash my subpoena because I don't belong in it,
or provide me with,
or tell me how I belong in it. And so I think that's what she's being made to show him.
And so Liman sided with him. I by the way, I don't know if I finished what Slick Nick said, but he was saying that, Hilton's website back in the day was disgusting in terms of just the trash he put out. Bro.
All I ever knew, I never went to his website, but I just know that he was responsible for sharing all those upskirt photos. And I remember seeing them everywhere and feeling so horrified.
Violated
Yeah.
for them.
Because, like, what are you supposed to do if you're a celebrity and there's paparazzi all around and you need to get up out of your car seat when the door's opened? They're just going to they're going to, like, hold their cameras low. Horrible.
So I suspect that, Baldoni supporters are pleased because it looks like, she's been forced to do something against her will.
Oh, okay. So they're, like, siding with Perez Hilton, who is definitely, like, the ambassador of feminism.
It is a weird thing, like how
like it's just like I wish that these people would just kind of like take a broader look at the sort of things that they're endorsing and the sort of people that they're cheering for in this dispute. Because like you think that she's like attacking women or something, like that was part of, that she's like a bully or a mean girl or something, but you're siding with Perez Hilton against her. Like, I feel like that's a really easy play to just be like, okay, well, I don't care what happens in this whole case, but one thing we don't do is side with Perez fucking Hilton.
I find it extremely weird that anybody, but again, like I don't know, like it's hard to speak so generally because I feel like, look, he has these supporters.
Who?
Justin Baldoni has these kinds of supporters, and so does Perez Hilton.
Perez Hilton,
Perez Hilton, I should say. They don't care. There's no amount of truth you can put on them, especially if it's like something like, something that might, there's almost no amount of proof that you can put down on them that would dissuade them from, their loyalty and fealty to these people.
I don't know if that's entirely true. I feel like there's some people who, like, for instance, like Sassy Dave Navarro made a point of Perez Hilton sent a letter to Judge Liman that was like really catty and nasty.
Yes.
And just like just shitty for no reason. He was responding. He was like answering the court about how he was supposed to submit some documents, and he was just notifying them that he had submitted them and what he was going to do and how he's involving Nevada courts, right? So he's just notifying the judge, but he ended up including this paragraph that was really catty, and I thought that it was really neat because Sassy Dave Navarro, who has like promoted some of the weirdest stories against Blake Lively, was like, this is a little too far. Like, you don't write a court like this. And I was like, wow, look at it. Look who found their fucking dignity.
Really?
Yeah. Let me read this to you. This is amazing.
This is from Sassy Dave Navarro?
No, he just reposted it and was like, you went too far.
This is Perez's letter?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think I've heard this yet, actually. So thank
you. Okay, well, here's what he said. He said, Judge Liman, I, Mario Armando Lavandera Jr., known professionally as Perez Hilton, write as non-party in Lively v. Wayfarer Studios to inform the court that I've filed a motion to quash the subpoena served on July 19th by counsel for plaintiff Blake Lively. My motion was filed in the U.S. District Court of Nevada, blah, blah, blah. He goes, I'm skipping a paragraph. He goes, it is my immense pleasure that this will all be decided in Nevada and not your court, where, in my opinion, you have shown clear bias in favor of the defendant, which he got wrong, it's the plaintiff, and have ruled in a manner that is shameful and of great concern for the public.
Sorry, I almost spit it out.
I know, and then he concluded...
He called her the defendant, which is so funny because... his guy had all of his shit thrown out. You know what I mean?
Like, the rest of the letter is normal, but then he had to add that part. And then he concludes by saying, please note that no action is required from the Southern District of New York, and I'm simply fulfilling my obligation to inform the court of developments that may relate to discovery matters in this case. XOXO. Mario Armando Lavandera, a.k.a. Perez Hilton. It's like, why are you being sassy in a court? He also... In the cover letter, like he emailed that was the letter to the judge, but he emailed it to Ezra Hudson, to notify her too.
Yes.
And here he has, this is also sassy. He goes,
Ezra Hudson's such a name, isn't it? It sounds like an esteemed author.
I know.
Ezra Hudson, from author Ezra Hudson, an epic love story.
Maybe she is an esteemed author. We don't know.
Maybe.
I would also like to. So this is Perez Hilton writing. In this email to Ezra Hudson, said, I would also like to thank Mr. Gottlieb for bringing me up to Judge Liman at the hearing yesterday, I am flattered that you all think I played such a pivotal part in the non-existent smear campaign you have accused Justin Baldoni and the Wayfarer parties of orchestrating against zero-time Oscar-nominated actress Blake Lively.
It's like the weirdest thing in the world. Like, what? I mean, her response should be, like $100 million earner.
Yeah, well, also, like, how many Oscars
nobody gives a
have you
shit
won,
about
bro?
the,
Like,
the fucking,
who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? Pulitzer Prize winning fucking,
So-
non-Pulitzer Prize winning Perez Hilton.
So because she hasn't won an Oscar, did she not get SH'd on the set of the movie with Justin Baldoni?
It is an excellent example.
Did she not get retaliated against because she didn't win an Oscar?
Yeah.
Like, can we fucking focus here?
It's weird, right? It's an excellent example of how, for the most part, it just seems like the people who even show up in this live and they want to shout and scream, bullshit about Blake Lively. Most of those people are shouting about shit that has absolutely nothing to do with the case.
What I don't understand is, like, okay, you don't want to be subpoenaed. It's a huge burden for you to be subpoenaed. This is what everybody's shouting about, right? All these content creators that have been subpoenaed, they're all like crying about it. Mm-hmm. So what are you going to do? You're going to like spend extra energy and time doing creative writing exercises in the fucking letters instead of just being like, here's my notification of filing this thing. Thanks. Like, that's it. That's all you're...
everything is about milking it for...
Yes, for content.
Their content.
And I guess we're milking it for content too, because look at us.
Well, I don't think I am. First of all, I'm not filing anything. Secondly, if I was dealing with the courts, I wouldn't make it like... I'd probably talk about it on my live.
It's fucking embarrassing to act like that in a court.
I wouldn't write to a judge in that way, ever.
Of course not. There's a place for sassy, witty comebacks, and there's a place where you don't.
There's also a way in which you can describe in your note, your... I mean... There was nothing appropriate about that. There's literally, especially since it's all being settled in Nevada, as he wrote.
What's incredible too is that the judge has already said that there was a smear campaign. He said that it was very clear that these people were coordinating and conspiring. Right? That's not his words, obviously. But he said that the reason why it was in a different ruling where he was. I have to find it. It was in his the order to dismiss Justin Baldoni's lawsuit. So for Perez Hilton to say the non-existent smear campaign, like, bro, are you not even paying attention? You're talking to the judge that knows better than you. You know what I mean? Like, he's seen all the evidence. You don't even care. You're just making shit up.
Other thing is, these guys get to say these things about something they know nothing about.
Guilty Angel said Perez is doing the most with XOXO. I just can't imagine that he was like writing on his computer, just be like, yeah, I'm going to say that. That's going to be badass.
Well, he got the draft from his lawyer. That's definitely written by a lawyer. And
the rest of it looked like it was written by a lawyer, and then he like inserted that paragraph.
He read it from the lawyer. He's like, I need to tell that motherfucker off.
So stupid.
And his lawyer's like, I don't advise it. And he was like, that's not what I pay you for. I pay you for advising me when I want to be advised.
I'm Bobo said, Perez needs to be careful. This could be bad for the rest of the creators.
Victoria says that a couple of things she said just about every content creator that was subpoenaed is defending Perez, of course, because they're all, as Andy Whistleblower Signor will tell you, they're all a part of a band of journalists.
Bro, you would never catch me not just trying to make a subpoena go away as fast as possible. I would not be fucking dragging that shit out. You wouldn't even hear me talk about it.
No
if
way.
I don't want to be involved in a lawsuit and a subpoena, I am just trying to do whatever I can, the minimum that I can do to make it go away as fast as possible. I would spend no energy on it. You know what I mean? These guys are amazing. They're like wallowing in their own suffering, which makes it clear it's not suffering. They're just exploiting it and they love it.
They fucking love it. They love it because they make money off of it. They make a lot of money off of it, Andy Signor and all of that's all they do. It's like one of the reasons why I'm so excited about that little stupid whale video is because that's kind of where I want us to be focused in terms of the entertainment that we...
It's not stupid.
It's not. I love that video. Well, first of all, I just love that conversation is the point.
Yeah.
I love bringing those kinds of stories to this live because...
I brought another
because there's a whole world going on around us.
Yeah.
I don't mind talking about these things with Hollywood because of my experience. I got my ass kicked in Hollywood in a really bad way. I got sued by the biggest movie star in the world. I've been through the rigors of the sort of stereotypical Hollywood scandalous life.
No, but it is super important to just be reminded.
Scandalous is in the world, but
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I didn't hear you.
No one did. Go right ahead.
I think it's really important when we're like we get lost in this, like all of this shit is really small, you know. I think it's really important to remember that there's a big world out there where things are happening. I brought another nature story for us today.
Okay, well, we'll get to that one. I can't wait because I'm sure it's a banger. They're all bangers. There's so many.
Can I get in the chat?
The thing I love about the nature stories that are coming out, and we'll get into it later, obviously, but that like what science is discovering is that just how sentient these beings really are, just how intelligent these beings really are. These ones that have been hanging around with us all this time. That's the most exciting thing about everything that we're learning, is just how fucking smart everything is.
Yep.
We'll get into it more, but it's really super fucking cool. What were we gonna say?
But not Brian Friedman.
Brian Friedman is not. No, he has been left behind to the. Maybe
he's got no strategy.
He might be smart, but he has no ethics. He's void of ethics, and he seems to be void of morals as well. But certainly the ethics are just not there, and that's on display.
Samantha was saying that I think that Perez Hilton writes everything with Chat GPT and it's AI.
Yeah, you're probably
and
right.
That's interesting because that was actually in Blake Lively's, opposition to Perez. They had it in here.
God, people just don't fucking do anything anymore.
Apparently in his filing that he was citing case law that doesn't exist. Because the thing about, and they made this point about, you can't use AI to generate legal documents. Because what it'll do is it'll hallucinate. So it thinks it's telling you real stuff, but it's only just like a language model. So it'll tell you about lawsuits and precedent that literally doesn't exist. And so real law firms learned this early on, like last year or years ago, whatever, where you cannot prepare. You could probably like use AI to start the process or generate whatever, paragraphs of your briefs, but you have to check everything. And so it takes so much more effort.
Yeah, but that's a lot less expensive to do, because there's like a process that goes through it. Like, so if you have like these more junior attorneys drafting, if you don't have to pay that, that's $400, $500, $600 an hour, right? Or if you don't have to bill that and then pay that out as a firm to a junior attorney, and then you're just going into a review where you're charging $1,400 an hour to go over the document generated.
Right.
That's
they
how
probably
that goes.
in their law firms they probably have AI assisted databases that are only supposed to pull up case law. But if you're just like a layman and you ask fucking Chat GPT to like write something for you involving, that cites precedent in case law, it's just going to make shit up. It's not because it's not being told to restrict its search to things that actually exist, right? It's just trying to satisfy your query, So stupid.
Is the TikTok glitching for people?
Is it? Is it?
No, it's just apparently it's happening. It's just so weird because like last night it just happened for one person and then everything went to shit.
Oh, so they were like the canary in the coal mine?
Yeah, maybe she just got a little burp in the little air in the pipe, Sorry to interrupt. I'm sitting here like sweating that we're gonna get shut down by bad tech.
Babe. I'm sorry.
But listen, I'm gonna fix this problem, and I'm super excited about that. Yeah, the bit rate's pretty low right now, so if you guys see a little bumping around, again, this is all gonna be sorted, but not for a couple more days. Thank you for keeping us up. Thank you. By the way, I can't even monitor my audio, or like my setup right now won't even allow me to put like you can monitor it. Like you are out of the,
I know,
but you can't monitor it out of the OBS. So I don't know.
We have to fix that.
I won't know if it goes sour. You won't know if it goes sour. So.
This is an interesting comment from Victoria. It said, I think if anyone got subpoenaed and had to pay for an attorney or take time to answer when they are innocent, they would not be too happy with the subpoena as well.
Yeah.
The subpoenas, though, it's like they're not party to the case, so it's not their responsibilities are really small.
And the subpoenas weren't even to them.
Like literally, if I got subpoenaed if I was being subpoenaed for whether I had communications with a defendant in a lawsuit, which is exactly what's happening to these content creators, yes. I would simply open my email, or my messaging, whatever, and I would try and find the contacts that were pursuant to the subpoena, and I would provide them to the law office.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't understand why these people are sweating so much.
Well, they don't even have to do
raising
that.
money for lawyers, trying to fight, just calling it an injustice, like they're being silenced or something. It's like none of that is happening.
But it's all about being involved. Like Andy Signor, if you saw him, they went on a fucking tour. I mean, they went on did stage events where on one such occasion, Sassy Dave Navarro was apparently served by
But
Blake
wasn't that
Lively's
fake or something? I don't even
process
know
over.
what's real with these people.
Well, if it wasn't and it was fake, it just shows you how they view this, because then they're using it as a means for creating theatrics in front of people. But even if it was real, then I saw the video where the service took place, and it was like a celebration. It was a party. It was an excitement. It was like being acknowledged. It was like getting a ribbon. It was like, and the winner is... You're not a fucking winner. Your data is being subpoenaed because they think you might be a part of a smear campaign.
What's super strange is that
weirdo.
you're right. It's like they're treating it like a celebration or a big joke, but they're also claiming to be victimized by it. And I don't know how you do both.
Well, that's
like
how
you're obviously not a victim. You're like you're reveling in it.
It's a disgusting display of humanity.
And I can't figure out how you could be victimized because you're not even named in a lawsuit. Like they're just requesting information from you, bro.
And there's a big difference between you and me talking about it on a live with a few people who come and hang out with us, and these guys who are dedicated, Andy Signor is making a documentary, which is obviously wildly biased. And, this is his idea of like covering something for people. I want to cover this story because I see similarities in everything that went on with their case, that went on with my case with Leonardo DiCaprio. So I'm all over that, and it just turns out that whatever. I mean, I don't know what the fuck I got here, dude. It was I don't know. I posted some videos trying to promote my damn book, and then they were like, TikTok was like, well, you have to go live because one of your videos is trending. So I went live. And it turned into this, whatever. 7 months later, here we sit, with this fucking podcast that I really am beginning to love, in a pretty deep way. But I'm not. But this podcast isn't about fucking exploiting anybody. It's not about exploiting. We're gonna talk about the stories, but these guys are like feeding like fiends on this stuff, and they're participating in the actual smear campaign. Like, for example, I may talk. I don't sit around and disparage Justin Baldoni for a living. Do you know what I mean? I do talk about the fuck up that was his movie, the fuck up that was his behavior during the movie. I have covered some of their complaint versus some of the evidence we've seen.
Yeah, but here's the thing: is if I could make a living disparaging Justin Baldoni, I probably would. But I would be using his own documents, his own filings to do it. I wouldn't be making shit up.
That's very funny.
You know what I'm saying?
You would be doing it. It's a funny thing to say, but
like if we could make a living doing this and talking shit about Justin Baldoni and his absolutely fucking trash legal strategy, then I'd jump right in. I mean, I'm already doing it for free.
Well,
so.
let me clarify a little something, because it sounds horrible. And because what you're saying is that
I'm only using the filings that he's provided to the court.
Exactly.
Right?
It's
this
his.
Is what I've just been reading what he's told us about his story.
The difference between what you're saying and what Andy Signor and Perez Hilton and Kirsty Flaw and all these and Sassy Dave Navarro.
Yeah,
and
they're
these
making
others,
shit up.
What they're doing is they're participating in lies. They're spreading a propaganda that's
what gets you in trouble.
And that's the difference between. So if you're talking about making money, podcasting about stories that where we're interpreting the data coming to us, that's one thing.
Yes.
But to participate in it is another. You're not participating in the downfall of Justin Baldoni. You're observing it. And you're opining on some of the the events and process toward it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. Like maybe I ought to figure out where I stand on this, because I would have no problem trash talking him based on the things that I've learned from him about him. Like I could pull up like 5 different bookmarks from his own memoir that make him sound like a shitty person.
Yes.
He wrote that.
Right.
He's telling that story.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
And the thing is that that's, while it would seem out of context if you're just going to excerpt, if you put it in context, it doesn't change.
No.
The comments.
I mean, I guess that's what they're doing with Blake Lively when they take like a tiny little portion of like within a full
Forbes
answer.
interview. Yeah,
the Forbes Women's Summit interview, where everybody shared this tiny little snippet of her answer. I took it out of context and it sounded bad. And that the remaining part of her answer that they edited out before they shared the video was her saying, "Yeah, that sounds kind of bad." Now I'm not like that anymore. Like,
Yeah.
So I guess you're right. I could do something like that and it would be wrong. Anyway, I just feel like I feel really secure in the way that we've been covering this case because we have been sticking to the filings.
Yeah.
Whatever Justin Baldoni and Brian Friedman and the Wayfarer parties have told the court is what I have been telling you guys.
By the way, not just the filings, the behavior too. We watched Brian Friedman go and make a mockery of the whole process of civil litigation on Megan. What's her name?
Megyn Kelly.
Megyn Kelly. I almost said Megan. Never mind. Megyn Kelly, right? And we've also seen or picked up on some of the other coverage they've done. Whether it's Brian Friedman on, didn't he do Candace Owens as well? Anyway, whatever the other channels were, right? We've seen some of that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's his behavior. It's what they're fucking doing that is bringing on the ire. They're not like, this isn't coming from, I have no disposition toward any of these fucking people, including Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. I've only ever met Ryan Reynolds peripherally. Never met Blake Lively in my life. Never met Justin Baldoni in my life. Had no desire or reason to. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Anyway,
You don't think that you would want Justin Baldoni to contact your relatives who have passed away for you and try and commune with them for you?
Oh my God. This is like the
people forget that this happened, but Justin Baldoni did this to Blake Lively and also to his wife. And he features that in his proposal video.
And listen, when we talk about exploitation, one of the number one, if not the number one fictional like romance subgenre on Kindle Unlimited, which is dominated by women readers, is paranormal romance, paranormal love stories.
I bet. Shit sounds awesome.
Well, because I love it too, but it just happens to be like women just really like they eat it up insatiably, right?
So you think that he knows that and he uses that?
Yeah, of course he does. Literally, so like tell the story about what he said about Blake Lively's fucking dad, who is deceased. Tell him the story as you can remember it.
He doesn't deny that this happened. Maybe he denies that it happened exactly as Blake Lively tells the story, but he doesn't deny that this conversation went down. But he said that he was talking to her father who had passed away, which is like already just makes me angry.
Can you fucking imagine?
I mean, I would like, it's just.
Can you imagine?
I would have a really hard time like coping.
The balls. Well, first of all, just the fucking size of your balls to walk into a trailer or to a person's house or wherever this setting was and to say, hey, I'm in contact with your deceased father, who, by the way, hadn't been dead all that long.
I know.
It was like a couple of years. He'd only been gone a couple of years.
So, like, he must have known that it was a new wound, and he just wanted to dig in it a little bit for his own entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And so, like...
I don't think he was digging into it. I think he was using it exploitively again.
That's what I mean.
This was about him being like, hey, I'm in contact with your father. And if they believe that...
He's like, I know something about this woman that I'm working with, and I'm going to exploit that private piece of information to sort of manipulate her a little.
If she believed that for a moment, dude, he would have, the old give an inch, take a mile cliche. Yeah, off he goes with this.
This is after he used the same tactic with his fiancée, his wife.
And by the way, there's always this persisting rumor at the beginning of all of this that Blake Lively had fallen in love with Justin Baldoni. When you take these kinds of things, you take the horny growl and the slow dance, you take this information, it really does feel like projection to me on that. You know what I mean? It feels like Justin Baldoni was not only craving Blake Lively romantically, but that he might have craved the attention that it would bring. That they could be, the next, Pitt and Jolie or Pitt and Aniston or Bennifer or all these other, big celebrity breakups and re-hookups, and you know how that dominates the headlines.
It is a little weird because he, I don't know if he does this to a bunch of other people in his lives, but what we know is that he did this to Blake Lively and he also did it to his fiance, right? Yeah. So when he said on his proposal video, he like visited his fiance's father's grave and stood there with a video camera and was like, I just asked your dad. I just asked your deceased father for your hand in marriage.
It makes me want to throw the mic on the ground and walk out of the room. It does. It gets me so fucking angry. I can
and I'm
barely
like,
contain
oh,
it.
okay, what happened? Oh, he said yes. Is that what you said? Is that what you're sure the ghost
got to
of
be kidding me.
of your fiance's dad said to you?
God.
Well, okay, so it's a little weird, right, that he's doing this to Blake Lively too. So he told her, according to her, and he doesn't deny that the conversation happened, just maybe that it happened exactly this way. But what Blake Lively says is that he said, I have been visited by your deceased father, and he has a message for you. Or do you have a message for him, I think is what it was. And she, because she's very good at just brushing things.
He told her whatever it was that he had communicated to him or whatever. Like he introduced it. And then he was like, do you have anything you want to say to him?
Yeah. And she's so good at brushing things off with comedy. Like you can tell that about her and Ryan Reynolds' relationship, especially, or at least online. But she was like, yeah, tell my dad he owes me $40.
He still owes me $40.
He still owes me $40, which I think is hilarious, especially in such a weird situation.
Great way to take
way to think on your
situation.
toes.
Yeah.
I would not be able to.
No.
I would have slapped him.
Twice.
So he says his eyes widen apparently, and he's like, no way. And he puts his hand in his pocket. He said, when I walked out of the house this morning, there was $40 in my pocket and I didn't know how it got there. And he pulls it out and he was like, Blake, this is for you from your father. Put $40 in my pocket. He had his hand on his heart when he said it. Oh my God. Can you imagine?
No, I can't. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine any human being comfortable with that. I can't believe he pulled that bullshit off. $40 in his wallet.
I would have balled my hands into fists.
Seriously.
Involuntarily. You know what I mean?
Listen, I don't have the kind of relationship with my father that Blake Lively probably had with hers.
Yeah, apparently she adored him.
Right.
How horrific of a thing to say.
I don't mean anything by that. You know what I'm saying? I don't adore you. What I am saying about my father is that I didn't have that kind of closeness probably that she had. And despite that, I would want to choke him unconscious.
Yeah. And you know what's really amazing about this is that at the end of this conversation, he must have just been like, yeah, that really went well. Like, that was really wow.
Dude.
Like, we really connected there. You know what I mean?
I gave her hope.
Because all of these allegations that he has, and the way that he tells the story about these allegations, because remember, he does not deny that she was complaining about SH on the set. Like,
Nope.
He catalogs it in his own court
The complaints
filings.
were filed. It's a matter of record.
He's very, very clear that this happened. Okay. And every single time he must have just been like, oh, no, that went well. I apologize and everything's cool now. Like, let's just go on with our day like a total dummy.
I am surprised that we never heard anything about rehearsals or anything, like something kind of leading up to it, because I feel as though there was sort of like a loaded situation going into.
They talk about it in text messages, but I don't think that there's anything that happens that's relevant to the case.
Like, I wonder when she started going, man, this guy's debagging. Like, when did that happen? Like, when did she start to get like, oh my God, I signed up with a guy who I thought was man enough to not only like, you know, I truly believe with all of my heart that Blake Lively got into this project for two reasons. The first reason being that it was a giant hit book. And the second reason being that she felt like she was in with a guy who could elevate her behind the camera because he was man enough to do so. I really believe in my heart of hearts that that's what she wanted. I think that's why this is such a different situation for her. Because I doubt it's the first time that she's been limited or been attempted to be marginalized by anybody in the business. So, and also I doubt it's the first time she's been harassed. She's absolutely drop dead gorgeous, has been her entire life, and Hollywood is filled with fiends. They are everywhere. So what's different here? And I think that that really what makes this a different situation is that he's exploiting women during a time when women are supposed to finally be gaining some footing in Hollywood, not just on the equality front, but on the safety front. And then you have this guy who that I think started to expose himself to her as a completely different person than he was projecting. And he was projecting that to women. And, you know, when you watch all of his stuff about the female gaze, like when he's talking about this movie, he's talking about the female gaze, and he's talking about working with that nonprofit for domestic V. You know, it just doesn't feel real to me at all.
It's interesting you talk about the nonprofit not feeling real, because his the financial reports for the Wayfarer Foundation that he intended to donate profits from It Ends With Us to the No More Foundation.
Yeah.
Or the No More organization. I don't know what it's called.
Right.
Anyway, No More is basically just like an advocacy organization where they just do like they have talks and roundtables, and they're just trying to like, you know, let everybody know that DV exists, which is like nobody is
What to watch for, how you can help, blah blah blah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that doesn't help anybody directly like other organizations are doing. So I'm not sure that that's a really great reason to. What I think was happening was that Justin Baldoni partnered with No More because they needed to make videography content, and he owned a production company that could make videography content for them. You know what I mean?
Probably so.
So I feel like it was probably just a big loop. Like he would pay into them, and then they would buy services from his production company, you know, to make their content, whatever. Anyway, the financial reports for the nonprofit organization, the Wayfarer Foundation, were published because they are always public when they're nonprofit organizations. And they had donated zero money.
Can you believe this shit? This is like Amber Heard all over again with that shit.
I know. It's
Remember
like
that with Amber Heard when she was like, she said she had given the money she had gotten from
I think she said
from the
$7 million
divorce
settlement.
It was like $6 or $7 million, and she gave every penny of it. She said in an interview, every single penny of it. Which I can't remember. It was a big, high-profile interview, but the interviewer was like, they just made a big fucking deal out of it. It was like a morning show or something.
No, it was like a European talk show.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
And anyway, they made this big deal out of how, like, you know, noble and philanthropic and important that was.
Yeah, well, Justin Baldoni
Not
was
a
talking
fucking
about
penny, bro.
I know, and Justin Baldoni was talking about it the whole time, and like Wayfarer made that money. Wayfarer made money from It Ends With Us. Everybody wants to say
They
that
didn't
Blake
just make money. They made over $100 million.
I know everybody wants to say that Blake Lively stole this movie, but literally Wayfarer profited exclusively. Like them and Sony made all the money. So,
correct. That's absolutely true.
And so he said that it was earmarked for this nonprofit organization, and the financials came out, and that was false. So it's like, dude,
people don't understand that movie grossed just under $400 million. And the way that split works, because they were the actual financing production company, so they weren't just a production company that got financed through a major studio with some kind of pickup deal or first look deal. Instead, they brought the property owned and packaged, and then they financed the actual production. So they were the breadwinners of the split, for sure. At least 60%. Probably more like 70%.
I would have thought that Sony would have made more just because
no way, because the way that works, and I can tell you because I've made these deals, or I've certainly negotiated them. The way this works, the way the deal like this would certainly work in structure, is that first of all, Sony, they have profit margins. They have margins built into the work that they're doing, providing as a distribution company. So they're charging the production that amount of money, whatever it might be. So that would include things like P&A and then all the staffing expenses that would go into that.
P&A is print and advertising,
it's
right?
It's print and advertising, prints and ads, they call it.
But it's just marketing budget, right?
It's marketing budget, and it typically either matches or exceeds budgets in the budget range of a movie like It Ends With Us. But even a movie like Marvel, they'll go spend $50 million on a big Marvel movie in P&A alone after dropping $200 million on the budget. You know, it's like a big deal. So the point being, though, that those deals look more like a 60-40, 70-30, or even 80-20, although I'm sure it's not quite that juicy for them. And the reason, by the way, that they have that isn't just because they're financing it. They're also bringing this top quality IP, right? It's a big, giant bestseller with a box office draw on top of it. So it's just a big old package. So you're looking at a 60-40 at least. And if we look at a 60-40 split after the exhibitor split on the 300, and we'll call it 50 million for the purposes of our conversation, right? 175 million goes to the exhibitor. 175 million goes to the producers. The producers gross, right? They made 60% of that 175 million after whatever might come off the top. So call it whatever. The budget, 26 mil, that gets kicked back. The P&A budget, call that 30 mil, 55 mil, $125 million. They got 60% of that minimum. So they made close to $100 million, anywhere between like 70 and up $1 million on It Ends With Us. As that, you know, if please steal my movie if I'm going to make that. Like if you would just, you know, like Leonardo DiCaprio stole my movie and I made $180. $180 fucking dollars on a Leonardo DiCaprio starrer.
That's how you know a movie was stolen.
That's how you know a movie was stolen. My movie is being sold all around the world right now, not in droves because it's a 30-year-old movie, but it's still being sold. It's in bins and fucking streamers all over the world. I don't make a goddamn penny. That's how you know your movie's been stolen. Not when you're cashing checks for $70 million. That's not a stolen movie. That's a fucking cash cow.
Yeah, he's going to have to prove these things to a jury, too. They're going to want to see the financial record of why he thinks that he had his movie literally stolen from him. What was stolen? Itemize that, you know?
Yeah.
Be clear for the jury so that they know how much to award you damages. Oh, you can't? Then you don't get to win, you know?
Yeah.
Lee is making a really good point in
What's
the
that?
chat.
Let's hear it.
Justin will never work again in Hollywood.
No.
Let me read more about this. This is really great comments. His directing career is over. No matter how much he smears Blake, he still has lost his livelihood. Continuing, Lee said, sorry, I'm scrolling. This is really good.
Well, I agree with all that.
Justin's insurance company dropped him. They don't believe him either.
Which, by the way...
And then Lee said, Justin will need insurance if he wants to work on films in the future. He has to be bonded. This is a bad sign for him. I work in insurance.
No, well, I'm so glad you brought this up because we've had this conversation. I told you as soon as he sued all those insurance companies, what's the first thing I said to you?
He'll never get insured again.
He's never gonna get fucking insured again. It's like if it wasn't a rap after you fucked over one of the like 100-year-old movie studio, Sony. If that wasn't like you know,
and then tried to destroy the star of your movie that Sony helped pay for, right?
Yeah, right. If these things weren't tightening the rope, sue your insurance companies. The guy will never get fucking injured. How can you? He's never gonna get a bond again. It's a wrap. You know, Wayfarer's a wrap, obviously, but yeah, this guy. I'm so glad you brought this up because I don't know if we've covered it on the live yet, and it's something I wanted to cover. We must have covered it when we talked about the insurance companies, but yeah, I don't see how he gets insured. It just seems like an impossibility right now, especially when what the insurance company claims is that he didn't fucking report the filings against Wayfarer, the complaints.
I don't know how much of that was his responsibility.
He's the fucking owner of the company. It's
yes,
all his responsibility.
I know, but was he in charge or was somebody else supposed to do that?
Doesn't matter. Wayfarer didn't report it. Let's not, Baldoni is at all here. It's like, it doesn't matter. They're all acting, in concert.
Yeah.
If I own a company and it does something fraudulent, I'm responsible for that even if I wasn't the one directly involved in it.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, maybe I'm not criminally charged, but I'm still going to be held responsible for whatever losses or whatever it might be.
You know how everybody popularized fake it till you make it, you know? Like you're supposed to just claim that you do stuff on your resume so that you get the job and then you have to learn how to do the stuff real quick.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what happened to Baldoni.
Yeah.
He was an actor on a series and then all of a sudden he owns a production company. I mean, he doesn't know how to do any of this shit.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big thing. That we talked
I'd fuck it up with the insurance company too because I don't know how to do this stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the kind of thing we were talking
I
about,
wouldn't be suing them for it.
Yeah, exactly. It's insanity. It really is. It's just true. It's true insanity. Some folks are having some trouble hearing, or one person is, but everyone else seems to be fine. I'm sweating in the palms. I'm trying to get to the end of this live, guys. I feel like all my hardware and my software is hanging on by a thread right now. So thank you for being here. By the way, if you haven't liked or followed us, please do so on your appropriate platform. I'm Dale Wheatley, and across from me is Angela. And just to give you a little history on who I am, I wrote and produced a movie called Don's Plum starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Tobey Maguire. That turned into a 30-year dispute that culminated in this book behind me called Too Real, a Hollywood Memoir, which I wrote because Leonardo DiCaprio decided to call me a thief and a liar in a New York Post documentary entitled The Curse of Don's Plum. And I'm not like some rich 100-millionaire guy with all these particular resources. Really, the only thing I have as a resource is my abilities and my capabilities. And so I felt like the only way to fight back against Leo's lies was to pen the book behind me. So I took to social media. By the way, Leo's doing a great job at suppressing the book. It's just unbelievable, suppressing the press. I'm pretty sure that Amazon's got their foot on my neck, but I can't prove that. Who knows? But in the end, I'm fighting up a big hill, and so I turned to social media and ended up falling in love with live streaming in the process. Anyway, just thought I'd fill you in. back to the jabbing.
Yeah, you got some really good credentials to be able to talk about this Lively v. Baldoni case.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
like you were in a major lawsuit with a massive celebrity.
Correct.
2 massive celebrities.
Yes.
Right? Who were making a ton of like this was when Titanic was released. So it was just like absolute like superstardom.
It was insane.
Okay. So like the power dynamic that everybody wants to talk about with this case is very relevant to
Certainly
your
as
experience.
big as this in terms of top of mind.
Yes.
But globally.
Right.
So it wasn't just
such a
'cause
bigger
this is
movie.
really kind of insular. I'm sure it leaks out into the world market, but I think most people, I mean, we know how, I mean, I think there were like Amazonian tribes that saw Titanic.
Yeah. But also your conflict with these celebrities was
Yes.
over the theft of your movie.
Correct.
So, you know, your insight about how this sort of thing actually goes when it actually happens and how it couldn't possibly have gone the way that they say that it went. Like the reason why Justin Baldoni's case was dismissed was because he made no fucking sense. Like you can't steal a movie when you have no ownership and no access to any of these things.
It's
like
because
anything that Blake Lively got away with that they are saying that she did could have only happened with permission from Sony or Wayfair. Like literally she could not have done any of the things they're claiming that she's doing unless she was advised, helped, given access. Like it's just.
We've said it before. Let me put this a little more like in a more like, sort of explosive perspective, right? The only way that Blake Lively could have achieved the things that Wayfair is accusing her of doing is if Blake Lively had enlisted Sony as a co-conspirator. So the fact that they didn't sue Sony Studios shows that they have nothing because she would need Sony Studios
Absolutely.
as a co-conspirator to pull off the things he's accusing her of doing. The fact that he, so not suing Sony is already admission to none of this being of any major consequence, because if it was, he would want to hold them responsible too.
And so if Sony isn't involved in the decisions, then that only leaves Wayfair. Wayfair is the only one who could possibly be responsible for the things that they say that Blake Lively got away with.
Correct.
So did Blake Lively take control or did they lose control? Like one can't happen without the other. Like Blake Lively, she can't take control in a vacuum,
No.
They had control, so they must have lost control. So who on his own side is to blame for that?
Well, and that we can find in their own evidence when they posted their stupid website, wherein Justin Baldoni says to his partners, I'm going to give Blake Lively 95 or 98%, I think actually the number was, of what she wants. I'm going to give. This is not.
You don't get to sue somebody for that.
This is not him saying. He didn't say Blake Lively is taking from me 98% of what this movie means to me. He said, I'm going to give her 98% of what she wants.
And so the whole thing is just scapegoating. I feel like you can't trust Justin Baldoni's version of events if you also understand the concept of a director's cut. Like he lost creative control of a cut with a studio who wanted to put out a theatrical cut.
Right.
And they didn't want to use the director's cut. And this happens all the time. So it's like if you've ever heard of the concept of a director's cut and this very, very normal, very common conflict that studios and directors go through before the release of their movie, then you can't believe what he's saying because he's just scapegoating her for creative decisions that he lost, creative disputes that he lost with Sony.
One of the reasons why Sony might not have wanted to go with the Baldoni cut is because the Baldoni cut had that moment with the virginal scene, right? The loss of virginity.
Young Lily. Yeah, he was talking in text messages with his editors about how he really wanted to keep the gasp in. And that's just so grim. It's just like... But of course the studio was like, we can't have that.
Well, they might have been, right? So they might have looked at it and said, hey, listen, we're actually marketing to women where this is not going to fly. Like, this is not going to fly. And we don't need this to come back on us.
That's not the female gaze.
That's not the female gaze.
That you were talking about?
Not the female gaze at all. It wasn't. So it might have been those kinds of reasons. And by the way, it could also be the emphasis on DV and the way he handled DV in the cut. So they might have wanted some changes to the cut, maybe to lighten the load a little bit. That might have been it. Or maybe they felt like there was certain excesses that, or maybe, I mean, it's hard to expound too much on guess on what they might have been thinking specifically, but just to give you some scenarios, there might have been some things in these parts of the cuts that they felt was like, not going to do well for them in the press, even if the cut overall performed a little better. That's the important distinction.
King Gator said, if I was an actor with decades of experience, I would also be negotiating for more control. Unfortunately, Blake is a woman and we don't like ambitious women.
Yeah, I mean, this is the fucking tragedy of Western civilization, or just a patriarchy in general. Victoria says Blake needs authorship, which, by the way, I just want to align with you a little bit on this. Authorship as Blake Lively, it's like sounds like a corporate speak, something she learned or somebody told her in a conversation where, she was trying to find out what was missing in her life. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't a fan of those words or that word in particular, and the phrase in which she used it. But I've always said about Blake Lively that I think she has a propensity for putting her foot in her mouth, or just for saying things that don't necessarily feel very relatable.
I agree with you on this. I think that authorship was a really, I don't think that she understood what she was saying when she was talking about wanting authorship. Like, you're literally not the author of the work. You're supposed to, as an executive producer, and then growing up into being a producer, and then being an actor. None of those are the authors. Well,
it sounds invasive, right? So, but yeah. She goes on. She says she has said in an interview that she's hired to be an actor, and then pulls the fucking rug out from under once she gets in here. And I get a little pissed off because you didn't watch the video, did you? Did you, Victoria? You didn't go and look and actually qualify those fucking statements, did you? Because as soon as those statements did, I went and I looked at that Forbes interview, and you know what happens in the fucking very minute after she said that? She said that that's something she used to do, Victoria. She said that when she started out and she had the ambition for having, for working behind the camera, Victoria, she said that she would take the job as an actor and then try to work her way into the back. And it was as if, she said, I pulled the rug out from under these people. That's how they reacted to it. And so she recognized that that wasn't the effective way to do it. This is in the interview, and you should go watch it. You should go fucking watch it. And in the interview, she says, so she learned from that. And now she's upfront. She even goes on to say, I'm upfront about what I want on the back end, or working in the behind the scenes, right, as a producer. And she says, and if they're not into that, then I just have to be ready and be willing to lose some roles because they don't fucking match up to what, my goals are as an artist.
This is from... That's an allegation that she like started in as an actor and then tried to wrest control or something, like become a producer. She's just basically describing ambition. But one of the reasons why I think it's really absurd that they ran with this that the content creators wanted to make this a scandal, what she said in that interview. Yeah. Justin Baldoni doesn't even make that claim. In Justin Baldoni's own amended complaint, he says, on or about December 31st, 2022, Lively agreed to take the lead role of Lily Bloom. As part of the subsequent negotiations, Lively was granted an executive producer credit, a title often given to a talent of her stature. Lively had requested a producer credit. There she is.
From the beginning, Victoria.
This is Justin Baldoni's own court filing saying that she was negotiating in the very first meeting that they had about taking on this role. Yeah. Nobody is making this claim. But fucking content creators.
Why aren't you paying attention to this, Victoria? Are you listening to this?
Lively had requested a producer credit, but Wayfarer and Sony demurred, given that such a title would not accurately reflect the role that she was asked to play in the production.
Allow me to interject.
She ended up growing into that because she did produce and was really, really praised by Sony in a bunch of text messages that she includes in her filing.
I need to elaborate on all that. First of all, it is common. It is common, just like in any other job, for people to move up the ladder in production. That is not uncommon. That is common. This is like any other job. When you go and get your job, wherever it is, if you're a fucking, you work at offices or wherever it is that you may work, maybe you have your goals, your eyes set on some management roles, some up the ladder stuff. You want to get more pay, more vacation, et cetera, work from home, right? Yeah. Actors want that too. Movie stars want that too. Everybody's looking to move up the ladder. And the top of the food chain in Hollywood is producer. That is the top of the food chain. The very famous and highly skilled producer, Robert Evans, who later went on to run Paramount Studios and who began as an actor, changed his profession the minute he, as an actor, was on a set and saw the producer fire the director. And he was like, I want that job. It's the top of the food chain. And everybody wants to get to the top of the food chain in every industry they're in if they have any ambition whatsoever, whether they're men or women.
That's like a classic story that everybody tells in Hollywood. That Robert Evans story.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's like, hey man, if you want to work in film, just get on a set. Doing whatever, be a PA, then gravitate to where you're interested and try and work your way up. Like, this is the advice everybody gives everybody. It's not some scandal. Blake Lively was simply saying that interview. If you listen to the entire one and not the one that was just like very, very
cherry picked for people who do absolutely nothing.
It was edited down to make it look bad.
Yeah.
But what she said was that she used to do this thing that everybody does and everybody advises you do, which is you get a role and then you try and work your way up to contribute more so you can get recognized. That's like very normal. But she was like, it just wasn't really working for me. And so I decided to go after what I wanted from the very beginning. And according to Justin Baldoni and his lawyers in this court filing, that is what she did.
Yeah.
And nobody is on Justin Baldoni's side is saying otherwise. So why the fuck are you guys? This is what I don't get. You're not making his argument. You're making nobody's argument. Nobody is saying that this happened.
Yeah. Polly on TikTok says that being an actor is enough of a job. It's like, well, Polly, you don't get to decide that, actually. It's not up to you to decide what somebody gets to do with their life. That's really up to them. That's the whole fucking point, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? How many people stop you from being what you want to be? My advice to you is to don't let them. You know, my advice to you is to go and be what you want to be. If you're capable of it, go do it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Blake Lively, like everybody else, should be afforded any opportunities she wants. Congratulations on being an actor, Polly.
Apparently, she's an excellent producer because Sony has praised her in a bunch of messages that she included in her amended complaint, where they're thanking her for all of the wonderful work that she did, and all the while she was enriching Wayfarer Productions. She was enriching Justin Baldoni and Jamie Heath and Steve Sarowitz and all the other people that are involved in Wayfarer.
Yeah.
She was doing producing work on behalf of them and making everybody a lot more money and a lot more success.
She was proving her
fucking thanks she gets.
She was proving her mettle in a really, especially male-dominated and very competitive world of producing. You know, and you know, Polly, bro, I don't care if you're an actor. What is that got to do with her ambitions? Just look, Polly, if you're the kind of a person, like she's getting all beat up in the comments right now on TikTok, but Polly, if you're the kind of actor who has no ambitions beyond your craft, sweet. I mean, that's perfect.
I hope
for
you never get SH'd in your workplace, and you never have to fight for recognition of trying to make a safer workplace. You never have to file a civil rights department complaint, and you never have to get retaliated against by your employer for doing that. I hope that those things never fucking happen to you.
By the way, the reason I get irritated by these, by when people talk this nonsense and this trash is because, like, you know, if you're going to bring something like, you know, her Forbes interview, fucking watch it. Go watch it. Don't come to conversations with, you know, with their words on your lips.
Also, it's like the reason why that Forbes interview exists is because it was the Power Women Summit.
Yeah.
So she was brought in to talk about what it's like to play with the big dogs, you know, and try and make your mark in an industry that doesn't really want to, you know, isn't really known for uplifting like the pretty blondes actors and stuff.
Women have to fight.
Like that whole interview was about how she was trying to do something bigger and how she's dealt with suppression and how she has to navigate that.
Yeah.
And it was really, you know, I thought it was like a really useful talk. Right, she's talking about how you shouldn't have to dampen your ambition because nobody seems ready at the time. What you have to do is just navigate it. You have to be strategic. Like, that's
I have my
great advice.
Let me tell you something. I have my criticisms about her talk on Forbes, but my criticisms about her talk on Forbes have nothing to do with her trying to work her way up in the business. My criticisms would be around the idea that she has an enormous amount of fucking privilege. You know, so to sit in front of a group of women and talk about how, you know, you just got to keep at it Well, I mean, your resources are, and she mentions that in the talk. I mean, in the talk, she goes, I recognize that I have more access and more privilege. And also I have, like, I mean, she can go and fucking pick up the phone at Macy's and get on the fucking shelves. You know what I'm saying? So it's not, she's not playing with the same deck of cards that you and I got. I remember getting extremely irritated when somebody put out this like statement of Beyonce has the same 24 hours that you do. And I was like, nah, fuck,
No,
she
doesn't.
does.
She's got staff.
She's got a staff, man. Those people get paid.
She has a whole entourage that
those
helps
people
her.
work 40, 50, maybe even 60 hours a week. She's probably got 10 of them. She has 6 times your time,
Beyonce
bro.
doesn't open her mail.
Beyonce
She's not
doesn't
answering
open
her
it.
emails,
Dude,
okay?
yeah,
Like,
I don't think she puts toast in the toaster, bro.
probably not. Guilty Angel said, I don't want the nature talk. This is what I want. Dale, the people have spoken.
No,
I prepared a bear story
You're
for you
getting the
guys, but
fucking
I guess I won't,
hey, this
won't
is
bother sharing
this is an
it.
eclectic live, dude. We're gonna cover everything, even if the main story might be all the juicy tea and stuff that you guys like so much.
It's just important to remember that none of this fucking matters. You know, we're talking about rich people fighting each other, and they're gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine at the end of this.
It's not nature shit, by the way. It's like the cool shit about like life. It's not just nature. Like it's not like just
Yes.
birds and bees. It's fucking whales protecting seals from orcas.
Yeah.
That's fucking, that's heavy duty, amazing stuff.
I know, and I want you guys to know about a bear celebrity. Should I just tell you guys about the bear celebrity?
Well, wait, we're not done yet. We're still on this main story, aren't we?
Okay.
Are we done? Let's take some comments. We gotta get into the
There's so
comments.
many, bro. I don't even know how to
Well,
get.
you gotta get after
We've had a lot of people arguing with each other, and a lot
Okay.
of people that do not agree with us.
Fine. Well, that's okay. I don't care. People don't have to agree with me, man. I don't need to
I know,
agree
but I don't want to set you off and spend another hour on this when we have other things to cover.
Stefan's saying, don't worry, bro. I'll get your salmon back one way or another. Stefan's going to go out with like his like battle oars. Give my boo back his salmon.
Ken Gator said, if you're gonna be the lead in a movie, don't you want it to be the movie you can stand behind? Blake didn't want it to flop. So yeah, if the filming was a mess and she wanted to fix it, good for her.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that she saw the opportunity in the wrong hands. So did Sony.
She's also working with Sony. She's like, I have a relationship I want to protect. I don't give a fuck about these Wayfair guys. They're jerks. Right?
And I think that the
they're
timeline...
like, she's like, they're disrespecting everybody left, right, and center. What I want to do is make sure that Sony has a successful time and that I can help them.
Yeah, I think the timeline is pretty clear too, in that Sony wasn't on board with Blake Lively. You know what? Let me tell you something. A movie studio, let me tell you what they don't want. They don't want a pain in the ass actor running the show. They don't. The reason why Sony said, nah, let's defer on the producer credit and let's go ahead and just give her an executive producer credit, and she can kind of like nosy herself around the set and poke around and be important. But no, because let me tell you, man, movie studios don't want it. They're a fucking pain in the ass to work with as actors. Forget about them as fucking producers and people running the show. But certain actors or certain pieces of talent actually do have a propensity or a talent or an ability or a skill set that works well with producing movies. And it is a matter of proving yourself. It is a matter of getting, and you can go and produce indies and that'll help. But, really smacking out like something like It Ends With Us will quickly catapult you into a very high, like, Kathleen Kennedy level or, what's her name? Donner. Lauren Schuler
Donner.
Yeah. Like at that level of producer as opposed to
That
like
is a really interesting point that you make.
Ronna
Because
Glickman. If you don't know who Ronna Glickman is, Ronna Glickman was like, she's like a legendary indie producer. Never really got into that other level. Do you know what I mean? Go ahead. Sorry, Angela.
Oh, it's okay. I kind of stepped on you. That is a really interesting point that you make. Because in the beginning, Sony was like, yeah, Blake, anyway, we're working with this production company.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you can see in their messages that they're like, oh, okay, well, we don't actually have anybody in Wayfair who is competent.
Correct.
Hey, Blake, can you help us out?
Exactly. Well, it more or less became like, she's like, where else are you going to go? Because she was not only there, present, but actually capable.
Yes.
So what happened was she got in there and intercepted the problem and started fixing the problem. But she also started bringing major assets. And I've said this before and I'll say it again. We've got some new folks here. They probably need to hear this. Taylor Swift music is out of touch, like out of reach. It's out of reach for filmmakers.
Yeah, you can't buy it.
You cannot buy it. It's not, there's no amount of money. It's priceless. And I know this sort of category of superstar because when we made Don's Plum, we had put a Fuji song, and it was like a deep track. It was like track number 15. I forget what it was called, but it was like, Mister, can I get $5 so I can get something to eat? Hell no, motherfucker. Do you know this song? It's a dope ass song, and it was played over my scene with Ethan Suplee about our homelessness. When we went to go buy when we went to inquire about buying the publishing and master rights, the response was no. Like the response wasn't, oh, it's $250,000. It's like James Brown sent us a price tag of $50,000.
Yeah.
Right. It was like Rivers Cuomo did the same thing with us. Right. It was like, no, that's how much.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We got shut down immediately. That's Taylor Swift. You can't have Taylor Swift music in your movie. The only way you're going to get that is if she has a relationship to the material herself going in, meaning she either wrote it or she's in love with it. She has a relationship with the filmmakers, and that is what we have here, right? Or she's making the movie herself, Taylor Swift. And then even then, she probably won't even use her own music because, there's a bit of a conflict in interest, a bias she'd probably want to avoid. She'd probably want to show her taste in music rather than her musical ability in that situation. So, not to overanalyze that stuff, Taylor Swift's music's impossible to get, and Taylor Swift's music is one of the biggest, best assets you could bring, especially to a movie pointed directly at her fucking core audience, women. Mm-hmm. Women. So that she brought that had to turn heads at Sony in a major fucking way. Because let me tell you something that goes down in Hollywood all the time, and that's a bunch of people who know people who promise they can deliver the people they know or the work of those people they know. Like this happens all the time where you'd be fucking hanging out and be like, yeah, dude, I can make this movie. Hey, what? I know John Legend, bro. Don't worry about it. And he knows Kanye, so I can get the Kanye song. No problem. It's not a problem. And you know what happens? 9 times out of 10 or more is that they don't fucking deliver anything of the sort. So when Blake Lively might have said something to the effect of like, I'm going to get Taylor Swift, I'm going to bring her, her music, there might have been an eye roll at first, but that she actually delivered it as a major producing play. Major producing play. And by the way, that trailer got 100 million views.
This is the message from Sony executive Ange Giannetti. I don't know if she's a producer or an executive, but she works at Sony. And she is telling Blake Lively, May 16th, 2024, hi there. I'm sure Josh is updating you on the huge response to the trailer. 108 million views in 24 hours, just incredible. But I'm texting to thank you. I know how hard you worked on making that trailer perfect, round after round with creative advertising, and all while you're shooting, working on the cut, mother of 4, and on and on and on. Still a long way till August 9th, but an incredible launch. Fans are so excited, and learning from publisher this AM, Amazon sold 6,000 copies of the book in 12 hours after the trailer dropped. A beautiful start, and thank you for making it so.
God, I want to sell 6,000 books in 12 hours.
I know. This next one, Ange Giannetti. This is August 11th, 2024, to Blake Lively. Blake, $50 million. Your blood, sweat, tears, brilliant, smarts, heart, and soul in every single frame. My God, it's incredible. Thank you 50 million times, and it's only Saturday night. Bro, they loved her, bro.
They loved her. Of course they did.
You don't see these messages to Justin Baldoni from Sony.
No.
You see these messages to Blake Lively. They stopped working with Wayfair. They just kept updating them about their progress. There's a lot of messages where Sony executives are updating Wayfair on the progress that they're doing with the work they're doing with Blake Lively. Because they're like, you guys are on a need-to-know basis. We're in post-production with Blake Lively. Yeah. We're good. Just letting you guys know the latest. You know what I mean?
Abso-fucking-lutely.
So she became a producer.
Yeah, she grew into it. She
became a producer because the studio needed one.
And when they needed one the most.
Yep.
Like they needed it so bad because this production was falling apart. As soon as those first complaints went down, I assure you they were concerned deeply by it. There's just little doubt. So and again, like if this was a dude, this wouldn't be a conversation.
I know. My
if
God.
a dude worked his way up from actor to producer in a movie, people will be moving out of the way for it. People will be like sweeping the path.
Well, it's also probably happened so many times that we don't even talk about because it's just something that people do and then they're just successful. They don't get fucking scapegoated. They don't get scolded. They don't get like smear campaigns about it. I don't know. I'm never gonna be upset with somebody for being ambitious and then showing that they can do the thing they're ambitious about.
Somebody said something so funny that I got to go find because it just cracked me up and I didn't want to lose it. And then I think they said actors are the manure that makes the flowers grow or something.
Listen, it's not nice to be shitty about actors.
It's a funny thing to say,
hard.
though. It's a funny thing to say because it at least like it's a funny statement, first of all. So congratulations on a good joke. But the reality of it is that he's not or she's not all that wrong. Like actors are the fertilizer. They are the like.
Well, but that's everybody that works behind the scenes too.
Well, no, I wouldn't agree with you on that at all. I would say that it's actors. And as a matter of fact, like look, you can put all these great like people together, but if you get the performers in there and they can't give us the boost to the creative, to the words, to the visuals, to the everything. I don't know. It's a pretty good analogy actually, but there a lot of people. I think what I like about the analogy most is that a lot of people have they interpret the star as the power. And that's not the case. They're the employee. They're not the power usually. Not, right. There are instances, right?
Yeah, that's why in all of Justin Baldoni's every single thing that he claimed was evidence, which most of the time just refuted his claims completely.
Yeah.
But all of the text messages and the emails and stuff from Blake Lively, she's asking him for stuff. If she could just do things, if she could just take control or whatever everybody's claiming that she's doing, she wouldn't be asking for permission all the time.
No, that's Sony's asking.
And then he fucking grants permission. Like, you can't sue somebody for that, for them asking and then you giving.
No.
Like, where's the fucking crime? There's no threats. There's no extortion. They literally could not show anything, which is why their case was thrown out. Lee said Blake Lively did a great job, too. Justin couldn't take it. He was jealous of her. This is why he hates her. She showed him up. She showed them all up. She showed the whole fucking company up. It is very interesting that in his message to his editors about being excluded from the edit that Blake Lively was running, he says, oh, so I can't participate in the edit? And the editors respond to Justin Baldoni in this text message. They say, per Sony. It was Sony's decision. The immediate response from Justin Baldoni is to degrade Blake. He immediately scapegoats her.
Yeah.
He's hearing from the editors that it was
actress.
He's hearing from his editors that it was a Sony decision, and he immediately scapegoats Blake for it and blames her for how he's being excluded.
And by the way,
you never got that information, bro. Like, where is that even coming from?
And the words he chose are words that are anti-feminist.
I know, I gotta find this.
At the very least, because he calls her an actress, and some actress, by the way, is that's just nasty talk, bro. That's just nasty talk. That's just straight nasty.
Per Sony is what I gotta search. Damn, it's not coming up. I don't have this in front of me.
KB says, Blake rightly takes credit for her contributions, but why then blame Justin for the backlash? I think she's blaming Justin for a smear campaign, not a backlash. You're KB, I think, misinterpreting what happened, because look, I mean, I guess we can all pretend to be so dense. I'm going to use the word dense because I can't find a better word right now. That we can't see the writing on the wall that is so clearly like printed there, painted there, whatever, because Justin Baldoni engaged in crisis PR prior to the so-called backlash that you're talking about. The backlash you're talking about is their retaliation. And it's like the writing is so plain. Justin Baldoni sends a text using Hailey Bieber as an example of a girl bullying other girls. And he says, this is what we need to paint her like this. Less than a week later, Kirsty Flaw releases a video.
No, literally 4 days later.
4 days later, Kirsty Flaw re-releases her interview that is 6 years old.
About being bullied by Blake.
Claiming she was being bullied.
Yeah, which she's not. I mean,
she's claiming she's being bullied.
But also, I mean, the publicists are exchanging emails congratulating themselves on a job well done of changing the narrative from anything to having to do with Justin Baldoni's bad behavior on set to somehow Blake being difficult to work with and how she's controlling and how she has all these past issues or whatever. They're congratulating themselves for it. They're talking about how this is a quote, credit to Jed and his team's work.
Yeah.
Like, they are fully aware that they are responsible for all of this narrative. And I just don't feel like I feel like I would be embarrassed if I learned about that and then continued to believe any of their stories about Blake Lively. I feel like there's just no way you can credibly assume that anything that is being said in the media about Blake Lively did not come from this manufactured content that was paid for in a smear campaign.
Yeah.
Because they admit to doing it. So how do you know out there that you're getting like genuine, credible Blake Lively bashing and not manufactured to anger you by some publicists Blake Lively bashing?
Like, why not?
I can't know because they admit to doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to fucking embarrass myself by believing any of that shit.
And why not, like, why not? Well, never mind. It's great points. Mr. Hands is back. And I think he's talking to Simon because and Simon is a friend of Leo's.
Oh, okay.
Who he and I have talked many times. He's like a legit friend of Leo's. So anyway, I think he's here. I can't tell because he uses like a username or whatever. Uh-huh. So I don't know if it's Simon. If it is Simon, you want to tip your hat, let me know. But if this is Simon, he might have said that. He might have been the one saying that the actors are the manure. But anyway, if it is Simon, and he's because he's like, so anyway, Mr. Hand says, if Don's Plum had been failing, would you have let Jerry Swindoll step in as producer and save the day? Of course. But I was there.
Yeah.
I'm really good at saving the day. Like,
you are an excellent producer.
I am.
You made a movie, you completed an entire feature film and distributed it for $1 million, and you guys went to a foreign country to film.
Yes.
That's amazing.
And
it had a whole ensemble cast.
Yeah.
How long was the filming?
21 days.
21 days.
Yeah.
Okay. And you accomplished all of that?
Shot a feature in 21 days.
Yeah.
In 2 different countries.
And
I developed the script from the very first draft
with a massive cast
for 18 months.
It had like
cast.
like almost 24 actors in
By
it.
massive, she means number of cast members, not reputation or fame.
No, and I think that's part of the charm of it. It's nice to find people who are great actors that haven't been given like a huge shot and let them carry a movie. It works.
You're right about that.
Oh, and that film that we're talking about won the festival that year.
It did. It won best film at the biggest. It's a faith-based film, and it won the best faith-based film of the year.
So you're a very good.
And the winner is me, motherfuckers.
That's right.
I did not go to that event.
No, of course not. What are you going to do? Like hobnob with some fucking Christians?
Hey, what's up? Devil's in me. What's going on, you man? You ever see Devil and Miss Jones? Crazy. It's back when porn had storylines. What else you got?
So much, but no more about this. I mean, the chat is going nuts. I think we've we've attracted some trolls here with us. King Gator said the number one strategy of these crisis PR firms is leaning into the worst of humanity: racism, patriarchy, ableism, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good question from Victoria. Hey, why are you guys not talking about the Van Sham lawsuit? That's what they call it.
What's the Van Sham?
So do you remember that the reason why Blake Lively had obtained this documented evidence of the publicists crafting and conspiring to create a smear campaign?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. The reason why she knew that was happening was because Stephanie Jones had all that information from Jennifer Abel's phones, from her work phones. Okay. Mm-hmm. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
Well, apparently they have made a controversy over on Justin Baldoni's fan side. Yeah. They've made a controversy of how that evidence was obtained. However, nobody on either side is disputing the fact that evidence exists and that it's real.
Oh, shit. That's just bad.
But they want to say that it was obtained through a lawsuit that shouldn't have been allowed. However, that lawsuit was legal. It was obtained by lawyers.
Yeah.
It has not been disputed by the courts. All of that evidence is admissible in court.
Yes.
Which, for me, I've never cared about whether evidence is admissible. I have always cared about whether evidence exists and whether it's true.
Well, obviously the lawyers and the jury will care because that's what they're considering.
Well, the judge is going to determine whether it's admissible, and that obviously matters to the court. But for me, as somebody who's on this side, who doesn't have to give a shit about whether, the rules have been followed, I want to know, does that evidence exist? Does it say what everybody's claiming it says? And it does. And no side is disputing this. So they have made a really big deal of of the subpoena that obtained that evidence. And it's very crafty, because if you really focus on how the evidence was obtained and you convince yourself that maybe that wasn't done all above board, which it was.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's all fake anyway. Then you get to distract people from whether the evidence that was obtained was actually damning.
Yeah.
And it is.
Yeah.
And nobody is claiming that it isn't. And so that's why we don't really spend a lot of time talking about the Van Zandt controversy, you know, the Van Zandt subpoena.
Sure.
Because what the subpoena did was it revealed a conspiracy that was actually occurring, that everybody agrees was happening. These are conversations that actually happened.
Yeah.
And that is relevant to the case.
For sure.
How they obtained it is not relevant to me, who's a person who is trying to figure out who's to blame and who's at fault and who's liable in these in the civil litigation.
Yeah. By the way, I saw a bunch of people, I think Stefan, but somebody brought up Phantom Planet's, the Phantom Planet song that's in
Yes.
Don's Plum. What's it again?
You don't know?
I do. It's just.
Stefan said the
totally
Phantom
left me.
Planet song you got for Don's Plum is
Yeah.
so sick. It's like their most popular song other than the OC theme song.
So the coolest thing about that song, by the way, just since we're going to have a little diversion into, like, by the way, what they're talking about is Don's Plum. If you haven't seen it, you can if you're on YouTube, you can just see it on my channel there. If you're not, and you're on TikTok, just click on the thing.
Guilty
head over
Angel
to
said, "Do the Panic."
Do the Panic. That's right. Do the Panic. So here's the cool thing about that. Like, so that song got officially released like 5 years after we put it in the movie. So it wasn't actually a release song. Well, they kind of released it twice, actually, kind of. But anyway, we got that song in 1999. Blake, who is on tour with Riley Kiley right now, selling out across the country with, that band reuniting, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
Such a weird time that this book came out, and that these guys, like, I watched that band form. You know, I mean, I was, in a peripheral way.
Well,
sort
it's
of part of it.
It is currently the Saturn return of your film and that band.
It is.
So
Shit's coming around.
Like when something is 30 years old, we sort of like rehash it, and
Yeah.
it's because that's the Saturn return of the thing.
So Blake knew the guys, Phantom Planet guys, and he brought that song to us, and he was like, "Do you guys want this song?" And we were just floored. We were like, "Holy fuck, this song is awesome!" And obviously we put it in the movie, and then obviously in I think it was 2004 is when the song actually got released on a record of theirs, and so all these people started writing me and talking about, like, how the fuck did you do that?
Yeah.
How did you make them? Did you go back and put the song in later? Like, there was all this confusion around it because it had officially been released in 2004.
Yeah.
But we put it in our movie in 1999.
That's a neat bit of Don's Plum lore that you guys were ahead of you had your finger on the pulse, ahead of the curve.
Finger on the pulse.
Stefan said it's the older version that's on one of the NHL games, and then there's a re-release version, dope track.
Yeah, it's a dope
That's
track.
cool. Did you know that?
We got a bunch of dope tracks. I knew a little bit about it. Like, honestly, like, I haven't really followed much about my movie, really. I saw it a couple times. So I don't really follow this shit. But, that happened because somebody came at me about it. And I was like, I don't know anything what you're talking about. They're like, you couldn't. This is bullshit. You're a bullshitter, and you're still releasing the movie because you took this song that was released in 2004. And I was like, it wasn't released in 2004 because I thought he was just wrong. I was like, you're wrong. Get your fucking facts straight. And then I was the guy that was wrong. He was actually right. It had been released in 2004. But of course, we put it in our movie in 1999. It just shows you how, like, fucking long a song can have before, like, that was 5 years before that song hit. So my book might not be a hit yet. But don't count that shit out yet. It ain't over. It's a hit to me.
Okay, back to this Van Zandt thing. Just briefly, because I want to share this comment.
Yes.
Jackie Graham said, the Van Zandt legal process should make you quake in your boots given the immoral circumstances and threat to personal liberty and privacy. The means never justify the end. Do you see what I'm saying?
I mean, I do see what you're saying. I just don't understand any of that madness.
Like, okay, a Doe corporation to obtain a subpoena is a very normal thing. This is not a scandal. I'm not really sure how they've twisted you guys into thinking that it's a threat to personal liberty and privacy. It's a subpoena.
It's a fucking subpoena.
I don't understand what you guys are talking about.
Do you have information? We would like to see it.
A threat to personal liberty and privacy. Listen, our
You're talking about the Patriot Act.
I know our protections for personal
Yeah.
liberty and privacy involve violations by the government.
Yeah, listen, Roe v. Wade got overturned. That's the biggest problem with your fucking privacy. And then before that, the Patriot Act. You're totally like off on the wrong tangent if you think that this has anything to do with your privacy. Your government has squandered your privacy.
You don't have,
and your oligarchs have stolen it.
I know you don't have personal liberty and privacy when it comes to civil litigation. So I'm sorry, but
yeah, it's absurd. First
and
of all,
also,
civil litigation and all those proceedings are public. That's why you know about it in the first place. And they're adjudicated. This isn't them acting inappropriately. You go to a court, you ask a court. A court looks at the law,
right.
looks at the paperwork that you filed, meaning what you're asking and why you're asking it, and then they make their decision. They don't make their decision based on something you might want.
Also, you said the means never justify the end, and in this case, they did reveal. It's not criminal activity because it's a civil lawsuit, but they were liable
activity
for conspiracy, harassment, false light, invasion of privacy. Like there's a lot of
interference with economic prospective advantage.
The smear campaign.
The
smear campaign is not innocent, and that subpoena and that information revealed a really awful sequence of choices by the defendants in the lawsuit.
Yes.
And now they're going to be held accountable for that. And I don't know. I don't. It doesn't make me quake in my boots. No, I'm actually really glad that information came to light because those people were not supposed to be doing what they were doing.
Exactly.
And they know this, and they knew this because you could see again and again in their responses to each other that they were like, no, we shouldn't put this in writing. We can't put in writing what we're going to do to Blake Lively. Right. They kept saying, they were like, no, we have to keep this hush hush, untraceable. You know what I'm saying? Like they knew that they were going to get in trouble if it was revealed what they did. It was revealed what they did, and now they're in trouble.
It's hilarious because they want to talk about the Van Sham, the Van Sham fucking
it's Van
subpoena.
Zandt. They're calling it.
I know what
got
it
a name,
is,
right?
But they want to talk about that. On the one hand, I lost my point. Sorry.
Okay, let's move on. Did you have any other things you wanted to talk about tonight?
Nice Pool is a smear, in my opinion. No, it's not. Then have you ever watched an episode of fucking Saturday Night Live in your life? Like, it's comedy. You're allowed to parody people in comedy. It's actually that falls firmly into free speech.
Get used to it because there's going to be a lot more when he loses his lawsuit.
When he loses, dude, that's going to be the Justin Baldoni
I know,
slam dance. I mean, Jesus Christ. But listen, dude. All of that's ridiculous. Those kinds of statements. Nice Pool is smear. It's not.
Hey, do you remember
it's an
when
artist? Do you know that Leonard Cohen wrote a song called Chelsea Hotel? If you don't know the song, it's really, really amazing. It's a beautiful song, and it's just poetic as fuck, as you would expect from the great Leonard Cohen. It was later revealed that song was about Janis Joplin. Nobody was going to sue him. I mean, she had passed already anyway. But artists write about. Taylor Swift wrote about Jake Gyllenhaal in, several songs. And then there's that other guy who's, the mother-in-law just got was crying on the steps because Taylor Swift beat it or whatever. I don't know. This recent bullshit drama around her ex.
The Nice Pool thing, I think that is part of a long tradition in, at least in America, where we really enjoy making fun of people in order to parody how ridiculous they're being.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we should cherish.
I
just want to remind you guys about the really hilarious story about Senator Rick Santorum. Do you remember this?
Yeah, you kidding me? The scrotum.
I know.
Oh my God.
No, listen. So Senator Rick Santorum.
If you don't know him, he was not only a senator, but he was also a candidate for president when he ran in the Republican primary.
Yes,
and
but this happened before.
It was during his campaigning when this shit happened.
So he was a lawmaker in Texas, and he wanted to outlaw sodomy.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that on TikTok?
Well, you did.
He wanted to outlaw it.
The big S.
Yes, which would have been
pal.
like such an immense offense to people's privacy,
Correct.
right? Because obviously the lawmakers had determined that even if you're doing this illegal act in the comfort of your own home and it's all consensual and you're in a relationship, whatever makes Texans happy, you still can't do it. It's against the law. You can get busted and, whatever. I don't know, fined, thrown in jail, whatever.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, guillotined.
Well, so there was a columnist named Dan Savage who is just delightful.
What a fucking great last name for what he's about to do.
So he decided that he was going to rebrand the senator's last name.
Yeah.
And he decided that
He was going to do all the SEO, right? Search engine optimization.
Yes. So he created, if you look it up, if you look up the word Santorum, this still comes up. It was first in the search for a really long time.
Yeah.
But he made it so that he made it so that when you look up the word Santorum,
Which is, by the way, this is when he was like running for, like, so he was going to run for president. So people were going to fucking look him up, right?
yeah. So Dan Savage made it so that when you look up this lawmaker's last name, Santorum, that it would be the definition for the frothy mixture of lube and fecal matter. And it's so savage, but it succeeded.
It worked.
It worked.
When you look up his name, that's what you get.
And it was just such a wonderful.
Oh my God!
It was such a wonderful consequence.
Savage.
Like, here you are trying to make everybody uncomfortable and label people, right? Like, literally, Rick Santorum was trying to label people who were engaging in consensual activity in their romantic partnerships as criminals, and he was like, well, then I'm gonna fucking label you too.
Yeah. Take this.
And I'm gonna
So now he's
like forever connected to this thing he tried to outlaw.
It's the greatest. It was really one of the fucking
and all I'm saying is,
most
like,
beautiful
this
things
is
ever.
we're privileged in this country that we get to do this to people that we fucking hate.
Right. Let's keep that privilege.
And
bro.
I just think that it's amazing that people continue to do it, and it's always delightful when they can do it and make it funny. And I just,
he did.
It's
And
part
he
of
did.
our like cultural strength, and I'm behind it every time. Especially when people fucking deserve it, dude. If the Nice Pool character was at all based on Justin Baldoni, and there's no evidence that it was, not been
There's
able to.
plenty of evidence, I think. But go ahead.
Justin Baldoni tried to obtain evidence, but his lawsuit was thrown out, so he can't. That's not a claim that he can pursue anymore.
It's not. You can't sue somebody for parodying anybody. You can't. And besides that,
so what I'm saying is that there's no evidence that anybody has ever shown that Nice Pool was based on Justin Baldoni.
But it wouldn't
the
even
only
matter.
thing that we know is that Brian Friedman saw Nice Pool and was like, "Wow, look at that douchebag. That totally looks like my client."
It doesn't look like him. It's obviously
That's
him.
obviously my client. Who's parodying who, right? Oh, I just love it. It's such a fucking own goal, bro.
You can't, by the way, just so you know, celebrities, they forego their privacy as a matter of law. In other words, like, you can basically say anything you want about them. There is a line that can be crossed, but it's a very, very, very wide, very thick line that's very hard to cross. One of the bad things about being a celebrity is that you lose your privacy. It's just the way it goes, and you lose it legally. So, it's not, now that doesn't mean you can print lies. They can come after you and make you either retract or change lies. They can come back. They can actually hold you harmful if those lies were so egregious that they exceed the requirement for a loss of financial or.
I wonder if you misspoke. You said that celebrities lose their privacy, but I think that what.
Their privacy rights. I looked this up while I wrote my book.
No, I understand, but isn't it their right to the not privacy, something about their public image?
The words literally that I found were privacy specifically. That they don't have the same Second Amendment rights that you and I have because they're in the public eye. They just simply do not.
It just seems really broad. Like, to lose their privacy, that means like you can know what their address is and you can know what their.
No. That's not. Well, that's different. And there's, so that might be true also, but I will say that you can't get in trouble for saying their address. Like, so for example, if you like were doxing somebody for the purposes of causing harm, maybe there might be something liable to that, right? Especially if there was harm caused to them. A celebrity would not have that privilege or that protection at all, unless there was harm brought to them. In other words, like, unless somebody said, go to this house and cause harm.
I always thought that it meant like not privacy, but like that you could parody somebody, you could make a cartoon that looks exactly like them and makes fun of them and has the same voice as them and stuff. So they lose their right to their public image because they're a celebrity and they're in the public eye.
So
but I didn't know that meant privacy.
Let me explain a little bit clearer for you, that my understanding of it at least. And that is that our next door neighbor, right? Nice guy, right? Pat, fucking good guy. Love him, actually. I could, if I said something really disparaging about him publicly, if I put it on the internet or I put it in an article that got published in some kind of rag or newspaper or whatever, he could sue me for that if he could prove that there was a liability there or that it caused him to lose money or favor or whatever, because he's in the private sector. And so I can damage his reputation and that would
Not
cost him
private
money.
sector. Private.
Sorry, well, he's covered by the privacy laws, okay?
Yeah.
So whereas with a movie star, they're just simply not. Like, I can say anything I want about them because they're in the public eye. If you're not in the public eye, you're protected because you have a certain right to privacy, especially as it relates to lies and truth and
This is a really good point because
I'm fucking all that up, but I'm telling you, this is the way it is.
this is a really good point that brings us back to the Blake Lively's subpoenas. That's why these people are their information about their contacts and conversations with the defendants is being subpoenaed. All these people are like massive shit talkers of Blake Lively, but they're not being named in a lawsuit. Well, at least not yet. I mean, I don't know if there's any liability for them. But it's because Blake Lively is a celebrity that they can talk all their shit and they're not actually being, held accountable for
No,
it.
they won't be. I said this when the
They're
subpoenas
literally
came
just
out.
being subpoenaed. They're not named in a lawsuit. They're not being held liable for anything.
Yeah.
This is why all of their fucking crying and whinging is like for nothing. I don't understand.
Yeah,
why
it was very specific data being subpoenaed. There was no invasion of privacy on them, and also, they're protected. We're protected. There's no, now again, you can't knowingly spread you can't knowingly spread fallacies, and especially if those fallacies can cause egregious harm against the person
right.
you're spreading rumors about. But it's
another thing about these subpoenas too is they're crying about having all of their private info leaked, and I wish that everybody knew that the Stored Records Act exists and to look up what that means. They literally cannot be subpoenaed for private information.
No.
And even if they were in close communication with the defendants in the case, the content of that communication is also protected. The only thing that they're being subpoenaed for is whether the communications happened. So they can be subpoenaed for like the date it happened, the IP addresses that it happened, like, who's the recipient and the sender, like those things. But the actual content of the communication is going to remain private because that's the law.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know what they're fucking complaining about. I would just call the law office and be like, what exactly do you need from me? Okay, I'll get that for you in 15 minutes. I can just be done with it, move on with my life.
King Cater asked an interesting question. He said, I wonder at what point does a YouTuber become a public personality or public figure? Immediately. I was about to say that Angela and I don't qualify. Well, I wouldn't qualify anyway because I am a public figure, because of Don's Plum and I've been in Vanity Fair, blah, blah, blah. But now that you're on YouTube, you're out. You've given it up.
Yeah, people can parody me.
You don't have to be famous. You just have to give it up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't care.
And at least that's my understanding. Again, it can't be egregious harm brought from one to another. There's liability there. Yeah. But even if there's a loss of privacy as a result of fame or whatever, but as soon as you're out there in the public, if you've put yourself out into the public, you are a public figure. That's how that works.
There's also the malice requirement of defamation, right? Like you have to do it. You have to know that what you're saying is false.
Correct.
That's one element of defamation. You have to have caused some sort of harm that has to be proven.
Yes. And
you also, what else? What did I just say?
It's like measurable harm, measurable financial harm.
Yeah, and then also it has to be done with malice.
Yeah.
That's a lot to prove. That's a lot to support.
Defamation is really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard to prove. You got to why Johnny Depp was successful is because there was literally correspondence from Disney where we're not going to move forward with you anymore.
And the reason why is because of this.
Precisely. Yep. Mm-hmm. So there was a measured loss that he was able to bring to the charge. You can't lay a claim unless you can bring that. So like, for example, Leonardo DiCaprio is up for every other movie in the fucking world right now. My book is not going to cause him any harm.
Yeah, that's true. So with the stories that
it should though.
So there are some really damning stories in your book.
For sure.
But the reason why it's not defamation is because it is true.
Correct.
It is not done with malice.
Nope.
You are simply telling your own life story. Those people happen to be present.
And they happen to do those things.
You also weren't violating any expectation of privacy because everything that happened in your book was in the presence of other people.
Correct.
And also, it caused no financial harm to him.
And privacy wouldn't
wouldn't
exist if it was just me and Toby. There's no assumption of privacy there. If you're
you're also not revealing.
If you're going to do something like
private.
expose your genitals, which you did so often.
But the things that happened with the only private conversation that you share is the one with you and Toby. And so much happens that's really consequential to the entire story and the outcome for Don's Plum that he actually talks about it himself in his own depositions in the lawsuit. So if you're lying, then so is he under oath.
Yeah.
You know?
According to somebody called Jackie Graham, she said, Candace, I imagine she's meaning Candace Owens, is going to wipe the floor with Blake Lively once she wins her legal battle.
I don't know that there is a legal battle.
That'll be pretty fun to see. I say there's no chance.
I don't know that there is a legal battle. I know that all of these content creators are being subpoenaed.
There's no legal
battle.
If
you guys don't know the difference between a lawsuit and a subpoena, then you're just getting dragged around by people who are like farming your outrage.
Then you believe that Blake Lively said that she pulls the rug out from under directors and producers to try and get ahead.
And Baldoni didn't even make that claim.
And nobody did because it's not true. And what she was talking about was her past experiences. But it doesn't matter because you just believe in what you're being told as opposed to believing what is actually real. And it's better to believe what's real because you're getting scammed.
I feel sad because they are getting scammed.
You're getting scammed. You know what you're going to buy? You're going to buy their shit next. That's what you're going to do. You're going to be like all the Trump supporters are out there buying fucking Bibles and all this other nonsense from this fucking
Every single one of the content creators that got subpoenaed by Blake Lively and her attorneys who are saying that their First Amendment rights have been violated. Like, guys, stop listening to those people. Every one of them that has said that, stop listening to them. Yeah. They know that their First Amendment rights are now being violated because Blake Lively is not the government, and she is also not stopping them from saying whatever the fuck they want. Those people are trying to trick you. They're trying to farm your outrage over bullshit, and they're manipulating you, and they're
trying to feed you ads.
You should let them stop.
Yacker Bison, I'm sorry if I get it wrong there. She says, listening to this angle brings curiosity, but they sound narrow-minded, not willing to see that the Blake Lively party are playing dirty. Both parties are created this mess. Their POV equals Blake Lively is perfect. Well, I don't think that Blake Lively is perfect. You've only known me for a few minutes, but man, you sure talk a lot of shit about me already. I don't believe Blake Lively is perfect. I believe that Justin Baldoni SH'd her. I believe she complained, and then I believe he retaliated against her. That's it. That's
the reason why you believe that she complained is because Justin Baldoni admits it in his own court filing.
It's just that, it's such an easy fucking win for her. It's just the wiping of the floor is certainly Blake Lively wiping the floor with all these others. I don't give a shit about Blake Lively. It's all you guys who give a shit about Justin Baldoni. I don't give a shit about any of these people. None of them. But I am interested in the truth, and I'm surprised that you're not. You want to talk about narrow-minded? You're the ones not actually looking at the facts. You show up here with stupid garbage about her saying shit that she didn't actually fucking say, and you belt it out like it's the fucking truth, and it has no basis in reality. It's not even it's not even based in reality. And you're showing up in here and you're trying to fucking paint my partner and I as these fans, and we're not. We're just fans of the fucking truth, and I wish you were. We'd be living in a much better world if you would take a little time out of your fucking day to opine on something you know about. That's the difference between you and me. I actually watched the Forbes interview. I saw what she fucking said. I heard what she fucking said. You're the one walking around belting out the same goddamn bullshit rumors that they want you to belt out that aren't fucking true. I don't give a shit about Blake Lively or what she is or where she becomes. I don't care about her money. I don't care about her babies. I don't care about anything about this woman. This is a case that's before us all. We get to opine on it. I'm interested in the truth. You know why? Because I've been betrayed by lies my entire fucking life, and I'm fucking sick of it. And part of the reason I've been betrayed by lies is because people like you who want to carry them for others like they're torches, instead of actually taking the time to find out what's really happening and seeing that people are being harmed. You don't have to like Blake Lively for her to be harmed. You don't have to like Blake Lively for her to be SH'd. You don't have to like Blake Lively for Justin Baldoni to be a fraud. You don't. You can absolutely loathe that woman and look at the facts and take them to the fucking bank for what they are. But you refuse to. Because you want to be boiled up in this in some fucking hateful way rather than actually looking at the truth and abiding by the truth. and supporting the truth and cleaning up the mess that these fucking awful people are making every goddamn day in this country and in our lives. You know? So I'm actually here with my partner trying to show people that there is a mess that they should pay attention to, and that if they do, maybe, just maybe, together, we can get some fucking, make some progress on the truth around our life, our politics, and our quality of life. We can protect the things that are falling apart all around us. That's what I'm about.
It's true. You got to know when you're being manipulated.
Come on, dude. Like, why are you getting played and being okay with it, man? Wake up. Go watch the Forbes interview and come back here and tell me that she didn't tell you that that was something she did in the past and learned from it.
Also, it's like Justin Baldoni himself in his own court filing said that when she started on the project, she wanted to become a producer. They negotiated it. He's not making the claim that people are saying about that fucking Forbes interview.
No.
The little clip that they took and manipulated. It's also, he admits that she complained about several incidents of SH on the set very early within the first month of filming. He says that. He explains every single thing. He minimizes it. He says he apologized, but nowhere in the Civil Rights Department fact sheet can you find that apology is a reasonable answer to any of these things happening in a workplace. He fucked up as the boss, right? He's her employer. She made several complaints as an employee. He admits to this in his own court filings, guys. Like, this is factual, okay?
It's factual.
The way he takes her complaints was to minimize them, dismiss them, make it seem like she was making a big deal. But he admits she made complaints. And the California Civil Rights Department is extremely clear about what his responsibility was, and he shirked it. And that's why he's in this mess. He's in this mess because he couldn't be an employer who runs his workplace properly. She, however, is a professional. She knows exactly what workplaces are supposed to do and the sort of protections they're supposed to have for the employees. And so she tried to pursue these remedies for what she saw was workplace violations. And according to the California Civil Rights Department, she was fucking correct, right? He is the reason why he's in this mess. She is pursuing exactly. I want everybody to remember that when Me Too happened in 2017, we all of us decided what should happen as a result of the Me Too movement. And that is when people are in workplaces and they feel like they've been disrespected by employers or other people in positions of power, they're supposed to speak up about it. They're supposed to complain about it. They're supposed to make sure that they try and tear down any structure that protects the person who's doing the offense and tries to get some justice for the people who are being offended. This is what she's doing. She was doing all exactly what we all agreed that people are supposed to do. And Justin fucking Baldoni admits that this is what she was doing. In his own, he sued her for $400 million and in his filing admitted to everything she claims. I need you guys to understand you're being fucking played, and it's so embarrassing.
I mean, in his filing, you can read his filing. It's all there. It's all there, and it's all blatant. You know, if they didn't even hide it, they just gaslit you and you believed it. You read their section instead of reading the whole fucking complaint. You watched that little clip.
I guess
that went around that said, oh, yeah, I just pulled. And the director's like, oh, it's like she pulled the rug out from under me. And you run with that instead of actually watching 30 seconds fucking later, where she literally explains that tactic, which, by the way, is a tactic I would use and every other man in the business would use. Every male working in Hollywood would show up as an actor or an extra. Do you think every extra isn't sure? You think the extras that show up on a fucking movie set are sitting around saying, man, this is it. This is the peak. This is where I want to be in this situation. Every single one of those actors are there. Those extras are there to get promoted. Every single one of them want to get promoted. They all arrive on that set with the hope and dream that they're going to get promoted. And the idea that you guys want to pretend that Blake Lively is a bad person because they told you she was, because she had the ambition to want to become a producer on a movie where the guy who's running the show is all about equality for women, about breaking down toxic masculinity and elevating the female cause, in a movie that he said where the female gaze is the most important thing to him. Get a fucking grip. Get a fucking grip. What the fuck is wrong with you?
You're all fired up.
Yeah, dude, it's because it's beyond ridiculous. Get a fucking grip.
Well, it's like, I know that these people are being manipulated. Like Victoria says, we're having a discussion. You don't need to get all upset.
You got to get to know me. I love this shit. You know, this is just me having a party. And by the way,
Hey,
it's like when
also-
somebody comes up to me and tells me that I'm sitting here shilling for somebody, or like I'm going to get upset about it.
Also,
you know?
Victoria, you don't need to tone police Dale.
Yeah,
We're all very comfortable with
dude, this is
the
my
way
fucking
that
channel,
Dale
bro.
emotes.
You know, this is my channel. I can do whatever I want.
I know.
Within the guidelines and rules and so on and so forth. And I think shouting into the mic is perfectly
We are
acceptable.
having a discussion, but I think only a few of us are actually working from the facts of the case, and I think it's kind of sad. Like, I feel like there's a big problem just generally too, but this is the reason why I'm really interested in this case, is because it shows so clearly how people are being manipulated, and the people who are doing the manipulation are experts at it. They build Wayfair $30,000 a month to manipulate all of you guys, and you're fucking falling for it. And I'm so sad for you. Like, all I had to do was read Justin Baldoni's court documents, cross-reference them with Blake's evidence, and I can see very fucking plainly what the story that both of them are telling in the evidence they both provided support her claims of the case. I don't know why everybody else seems to be duped. And I think it's because they're engagement farming and rage farming, right? People are allowing themselves to be exploited by these publicists and these content creators. Like, guys, like, you have to become smarter than this. Like, there's like,
you do, for your own protection.
Yeah, dude. There's like, media manipulation is the lowest hanging fruit for anybody who wants to completely change your mind about things that should matter to you.
Yeah, we're really at a point in our time where it couldn't be more critical for you to be critical about what you're hearing and what you're seeing. And like, so
It's
if you
so
show up
important
on a situation like this, why not take the things we're saying and go and look? Like, you don't have, I'm not saying take what I'm saying and, like, you know, tattoo it on your fucking forearm. I'm saying take what we're saying, go watch the Forbes video, and then ask yourself, like, you know, in a responsible way, not with your bias. Remove your bias. I don't give a shit about Blake Lively, dude.
Well, whatever.
And by the way, the reason why I get upset about this probably more than most is because I've been fucked over in the very same way that this woman is getting fucked over. You know, and I got to tell you, it's the most horrific thing ever. And I was, you know, not nearly as fortunate as she was in life. And so when it happened to me, it destroyed everything. It destroyed all of my opportunities. It destroyed my spirit, my creativity, my lust and love for fucking art was all completely fucking destroyed. And I had to rebuild it from scratch because of the very same shit that Baldoni's trying to pull on Blake Lively. Leonardo DiCaprio ruined my reputation. He ruined my life. He ruined, you know, every relationship I ever had. And I was left without any career or any hope or dreams. And I was standing in a room empty of people because he took them all out like a vacuum, using his power and his fucking influence. And I see this shit going on here in this fucking case. And what gets me upset about it is that all the people who are just willing to listen to what they are saying and not spend any time at all trying to get with the fucking truth. Just find out. Like, if you, by the way, go and show, you know, you go and like jump down the rabbit holes. Like Angela and I, you know, we don't just show up to these lives. Like, we're not just rolling off the couch and coming in here. We're reading the documents. We're reading the fucking transcripts. We're reading the motions. We're doing all the work. You know, we're weighing other influencers' opinions on it, including legal counsel and everybody else that we can really get our hands on.
Yeah, but I'm like, you know, if they say that they got an anonymous source, like, you're welcome to reject that because holy shit, dude. Like, that's the easiest way to just trick somebody. Jackie is saying that we're being condescending. You two are talking down to us. We're not sheep. I'm not talking down to you guys. I'm warning you guys.
I mean,
like,
I don't care what you think about whether
here's the
I'm
thing,
talking
is like,
down to you or
I
not.
feel like we're one big family, okay? And we're all going to the movies and we're all watching the same movie. And some of you guys are coming away with a completely different message from the movie, you know?
Well, it's worse
I mean,
than
that's
that.
a work of fiction, so that's a really bad analogy.
It's
But what
worse
I'm saying
than
is, like, I'm not talking down to anybody. I'm fucking warning you people.
Hey, listen.
Like, you're being fucking manipulated.
I'm not going to defend myself on my fucking channel. If you don't like what's going on, you're welcome to move on.
Well, that's true.
I love having you here. If you don't want to hang out with me, don't hang out with me. I don't.
No, but I'm not. Here's the thing: is like, I've never said anything condescending. I'm saying that you guys are being tricked.
Yeah,
that's different. I'm like, I'm trying to tell you that you're being manipulated. There are books. I have to tell you guys, like, okay,
I haven't said a condescending thing to you, asking you, imploring you, in fact, to just get a grip and start looking at the truth. And if if me telling you to get a grip is offending you, then, you know, I guess you never will then.
I think it's important that everybody knows. So there are books out there that are available that teach publicists, students how to become crisis PR managers.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can read those books. They're available to everybody.
Yeah.
And you can see the strategies that are employed in order to change public opinion about things that the client wants changed. Like, these are manipulation strategies that have been worked for 50 years. These people have honed the craft. They take studies that were paid for by the fucking CIA, and they're implementing them on us. And I'm just telling you, like, this is available information. You guys can go seek. You can educate yourself about how crisis PR works.
They're not going to.
About being tricked. They want to say that I'm condescending them instead of warning them.
Yeah. They're not going.
Like,
well, they're saying
then nobody can fucking help you.
They're like, they don't need your warnings, Angela. They don't need your fucking warnings because they know. They know everything. That's why they show up here with half fucking baked ideas. But they show up here with no information except the information they've been given.
They literally spell out how they trick people. They have the fucking Justin Baldoni's publicist put together what they called a social combat plan. You guys can go read it. That's like a available public court filing. Like, it's all, they spell it out. Like,
hey, listen, dude, if you want to walk through life getting smacked around by what people are telling you to say and do, that's your fucking business. But if you show up at this channel, I don't play. I'm not playing with that stuff at all.
We're too real.
Yeah, we're too real, dude. We're not playing around with fucking garbage that they're handing me. You tell me one thing, I'm going to go look it up. Do you know what? I'm not going to spend my time pretending that you told me. You know what? By the way, it's a funny thing. The first time that I heard about the Forbes interview, I was like, oh boy, that's not good. That was my first reaction because I heard it. I saw it like everybody else.
I know I saw it, but I was like, wait a second. That's really clear. Like, what was the question?
Let me sort of go down the road if I may. Okay? Because when I first saw that Forbes interview, I was like, that's bad. That's damning. But then I asked a critical question. I was like, well, why would she say that at this event? Because I looked at what the event was, and it's this woman's power,
Women's
summit.
Power Summit.
Yeah. So I'm looking at this women's power summit, and I'm like, well, why the fuck would she say something like this at a women's power summit?
See, you're asking questions.
I ask questions, critical questions. It's called critical thinking. So that question led me to YouTube and a very simple search. Within seconds, I had the Forbes interview in front of my face and I was watching the whole clip. And it took only 1 minute after the clip that you saw, that you brought to this live all these months later. It took 1 minute after that to hear the whole truth. And at no point does that woman say that she goes onto sets and pulls the rug out from under directors and producers in order to manipulate her way into more powerful positions.
But the biggest takeaway
the exact opposite is what she said. And it's the exact opposite that she advised these women. What her advice was to these women at this summit was, and by the way, she should have said, it's not the same rules for us. Men can go on sets and they can work their way up in the same manner that she was. But but if you're a woman, not Blake Lively, a woman, if you're a woman in Hollywood, and I know this, I worked in Hollywood. If you're a woman in Hollywood, you don't have those same opportunities. You don't have those same privileges. You're going to get this nonsense about you being this bad person who pulls the rug out, you being manipulative. But I'm telling you, there hasn't been a set that I've been on that I hadn't tried to work my way up on. Not fucking one. Not one. And there's nothing deceptive about it. It's ambition. It's what you're there to do. Like I said, no extras showing up there wanting to be an extra. They're there to move up in that production.
The biggest takeaway for me after I watched the actual answer in her Women's Power Summit interview was it was less about what she actually said, because that was obviously very clarifying. But the biggest takeaway for me was like, wow, they really pulled from the very center of her answer. They clipped the beginning of her answer and the end of her answer.
That's right.
And they meticulously extracted, surgically extracted the one thing that could be twisted to sound bad that she said in the entire fucking interview.
And launched it, and they all took it.
And they put it out, and it's like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, wow, that's what these people are doing, is they're digging up everything that she said in the past, and they're seeking the worst thing, and they're taking it out of context and spreading it around and making a fucking big deal out of it.
It's like they were saying about her working with Woody Allen.
Oh, I mean, like everybody fucking worked with Woody Allen.
Well, no, and on that movie, Jesse Eisenberg was nominated for an Oscar at the very same, the very same year that they were Cafe Society, for which they were criticizing her for working with Woody Allen. And there's Jesse Eisenberg literally being nominated for Oscars today.
Oh, I know. They also say that Blake Lively is like BFFs with Harvey Weinstein. Meanwhile, Harvey Weinstein like paid for the PR agency that Justin Baldoni hired.
Well, and also the only thing she actually said was that he hadn't done anything to her. which,
I know, of course.
believe it or not, these predators don't actually victimize every single person that they encounter.
Yeah, also, Blake Lively worked with Megan Twohey, who exposed Harvey Weinstein and is credited with, for making sure that he faced justice.
You guys got to stop getting pushed around. Maybe you don't. Maybe you don't. Maybe your life is about getting pushed around.
Maybe they're having fun.
Yeah, maybe this is a good time for you. Maybe, going out there and marching out into the world and spreading complete, absolute bullshit is entertaining for you, or a part of what fulfills your soul. But for me, it's the exact opposite. For me, I think exposing the truth is a better fucking thing. And again, you don't have to like Blake Lively for her to be a victim.
I think we got static again. King Gator said, "Oh no, the static."
No, really?
It's probably time to go anyway.
That sounds crazy.
We didn't cover anything.
I'm going to fix this problem. I've got hardware coming in. I love you guys. Thank you for coming. If you guys can't hear me, that's up to you guys.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone. Sorry about the fucking technical problems. We'll get rid of them.